All right, it is on. We're doing this.
Start us off, boss man.
Holy shit. Hey, it's episode 200 of Comic Timing. We're in person. That happened.
We are in person. We're in sunny Auburndale, Florida.
Yes, it is.
Ian's girlfriend's mom is retired down here.
Yep, retired and living in a two-bedroom apartment, house that's only one level, because up until a little while ago, that's all you could build here in Florida.
I just informed that of Ian earlier when we were having beers at lunch.
Yep.
So it's about an hour south of Florida in the Lakeland direction, if you're familiar with the area.
Yep. So come on and stop by. No, don't stop by. Please don't stop by. I've not invited anyone.
Martha's mom would love that. And by that, I mean Grandpa Gotham or Grandpa Kent. Grandma Kent.
Yeah, and I apparently only record in person when in a park at this point, as the last time I recorded in person was with Brandon in a park after we watched Justice League. So,
well, if you guys actually get together for PAX Unplugged,
yeah,
you have a hotel room. There's no excuse
That's
not
true.
to break the trend.
That is true. That is true. We'll see what we can do about that. We might be too busy watching live D&D recordings, but we'll figure out something one way or the other. If not, we'll do a part 2 of this in Skype land with everybody.
I think recording your own thing is better than watching a live anything.
Is it though? Is it really?
It is.
All right,
it
fine.
is.
Fine.
I never got the Twitch channel streaming and all this other crap, or like
but this
you're not playing. I hated as a kid watching other people play games, waiting for my turn.
Yeah.
So I do not watch any of this Twitch crap.
Well, but this is like going to a live show, though. Like, I mean, like, you know, if you're already invested in the podcast, which I am for Acquisitions Incorporated.
Okay.
Like, this is them just going through something live, and you get to interact yourself. So it's not that bad.
Something different.
Yeah, something different. A little bit different. Yeah. So, how you been, man?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm still recovering. My stomach is probably at least a little bit bigger after all the excessive amounts of turkey and stuffing and what have you that I ate.
We had 1 day of leftovers on Friday, both meals, and I think we're done. I think Amanda's like gonna give up on the turkey in the fridge and just be like, just toss it when you get home.
Oh my god, we have this like turkey like sludge soup of like everything that was like inside the turkey with like all the vegetables that were put inside of it right now. That like we're either gonna wind up going soup or dump at this point. We haven't quite decided what. It's gonna have to be one way or the other, but we'll figure it out one way or the other. But yeah, man, it was nice to experience Thanksgiving and not freeze your ass off.
Yes.
That was a nice change of pace.
Yes, it's pretty warm down here for Florida. It's going to cool off, I think, tomorrow. Is what they're saying.
Yeah, which will be a good day for me to be at Disney World the entire time at Hollywood Studios. Hopefully, everybody will be hiding inside.
You can drink some blue milk. The green milk.
I clearly
both milks.
I mean, it's what's for dinner. Oh wait, no, that's not the catchphrase. Milk. It's good for your heart. The more you eat, No, that's not it either. All right, I give up.
Something about bones.
Something about making your bones stronger.
I don't think there's actually milk in it. I think it's for those lactose intolerant people. I think you're SOL there.
It's like a butter beer doesn't have alcohol.
That's right. It's a milk-like substance.
Yeah.
Simulation.
Oh. My favorite butter beers are still the ones you get at like bars that actually put in like a little bit of rum just to balance out the flavor and what have you. But butterbeer is tasty.
I haven't had that. Butterbeer is tasty.
So sugary. Sure. So sugary. So 200 episodes, man.
200 episodes.
It only took us 200 years.
It only took us 200 years. So speaking of that, I have compiled some facts.
Uh-oh.
And I did not come up with a catchy name. In fact, just the thing in my notes app is called CT Stats. Okay. So we'll just go with that.
CT Stats or timing facts, maybe?
You do like facts timing or
timely
flash facts, timely facts.
See, the timely Marvel. Huh?
Timely facts.
There we go.
Right.
Yeah. Marvel used to be timely.
Timely facts.
Oh boy.
So I just compiled these by going into WordPress and searching through the database there. So I have not listened to all 200 episodes since the last recording or leading up to this. This was literally me like 3 nights ago, like, oh, I should do this when we get together with Ian.
You mean you didn't have time to listen to 200 episodes or something?
I did not. I barely have time to watch the last season of Punisher, the last season of Jessica Jones.
Oh, my God.
Any of Watchmen, any of his Dark Materials.
Did you start The Mandalorian?
I am caught up with The Mandalorian.
Right. I'm too behind.
Only thing.
Yeah, I'm too behind right now. I've watched the first 2.
The Imagineering story on Disney Plus, also worthwhile. Documentary series about how they made the parks, and being a Florida local.
Nice.
You have a little bit more insight since you've been there a whole shitload of times than maybe someone who's never been to everything.
I subscribe to a whole bunch of YouTube channels that like go into former attractions and what have you. So that'd be right up my alley.
This isn't quite as in depth as some of those, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's each episode's an hour and it's covering maybe 15 years in the park's lifespan and kind of thing.
Defunct Land.
Imagineering.
Defunct Land. If you haven't listened to it, that's a good one on YouTube. Yeah.
So here's some facts.
Uh-oh.
There are 331 posts in WordPress.
Okay.
78 of which were posted by Brent.
Okay.
So that just puts you in perspective. Ever since you gave Brent access.
Some of them were just blog posts. I remember we were doing just straight up blog posts.
293 of those are published podcasts.
Okay.
That's all inclusive of all the brands there.
Okay.
Comic Timing, anything else we syndicated, BK's Bullets, all that stuff. There have been 28 BK's Bullets episodes. The first one is in July of 2007.
Okay.
17 of those 28 are BK's Bullets with Jim, focusing on games.
Yeah.
First one of those in October 2012.
Did we ever do a BK's Bullets together? I know we thought
did not.
I know we've talked about it.
If it's you and me, it's Comic Time.
Well, yeah, I know, but like we've talked about that, like maybe doing like a gaming episode.
Oh yeah, we did talk about that, but I think it was going to be a Comic Timing about comic book video games. And
Got it.
Gem in.
Okay. Yeah,
we can still do that.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
6 are Comic Book Laundry, featuring Chad Burdett, Bill English, Yanni, and Harold Jennett.
Wow. Harold Jennett? Harold Jennett?
14 of those are CT Extra Points.
Yep.
The first one in March 2013.
Mm-hmm.
7 of those are Geek Speak Reports. First one in December 2006. Of which I saw the last one was, or maybe the first one, Thoughts on the Wii.
Oh my god.
Truthiness, the word of the year for 2006.
Dear Lord.
There were 15 episodes marked Review Corners.
Okay.
First one in August 2008, episode 71 of Comic Timing.
Yeah, brought to you by what? Heroes Corner?
Yes.
That's
how that got started.
Yep.
6 episodes of the Rogues Gallery.
Oh, wow.
Really, there's 5, because there is no episode 1 on the server. I looked.
That's weird.
I searched Rogues Gallery episode 1 or episode 1.
Oh.
Did not get it.
You know what? I think the original Rogues Gallery episode was...
Was it for Cryptographic?
No, it wasn't for Cryptographic. It was part of another episode. We had him on in the Matt Summer era. We had Damian Smith on as a guest, and we finished that episode, and then we wound up doing the Rogues Gallery as like a segment afterwards. So I'll have to look at that. Yeah.
Anyway, the villains featured on those 5 are Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
The Shade.
Yep.
Bullseye.
Yep.
Sinestro.
Ooh.
Which is now like a mainstream villain. He wasn't then.
That's
really.
true. Yeah.
Maybe he was.
Yeah, close
And the random Ian Nottingham of Witchblade.
Yeah, that was a weird one. It's like we really needed to do an independent and we couldn't think of anybody.
This is so weird. I'm looking at my phone. I want to look at you, but I don't want to look at you because I never look at you. That's because you're always on the phone.
I know, because we don't even do video as like backup or anything like that.
There is one episode of The Quarter Bin on our server. That's number 5.
The only episode of The Quarter Bin that exists on the internet, by the way.
So what the fuck are 1 through 4?
Dead. No, Brandon lost those a while ago. So like I think that may actually be the only one that's still.
I don't know why he called it number 5 then.
Because there was 1 through 4 once upon a time.
Well, if they don't get published, they're not numbered anything.
They were published and now they're not.
There's more shit to give Brandon shit about when you see him next week.
Yes, clearly.
Okay, going into tags. Batman is our most tagged character.
Unsurprising.
With 27 tags.
Unsurprising considering
Superman, a long second at 14 tags.
Thanks, Raph.
There are 73 times Ian asked you to dig us at dig.com in the show notes. that's with 2 G's.
Oh, my God.
Dig.com.
And how about you like us on Podcast Alley while you're at it? Like,
I was just looking at tags and I came across Dig and I was like, how many times is this thing?
Oh my god. Thanks,
I
Kevin Rose.
The co-host WordPress got accessed in 2007, so that's when I got access to the website and hosting. I can see my cheeks, which is unusual. I think I'm flushed from those beers. I went on the website and counted. There are 33 links on the left-hand column.
Okay. I guarantee you,
other places and other podcasts.
I guarantee you some of those podcasts,
25 of which still work.
I was going to say, yeah.
I checked.
I have to go. I have to go in and get rid of a few of those. Yeah.
Okay.
11 O'Clock Comics definitely still exists. That much I know.
Yes. And then unrelated, I was in my DCBS thing and looking at my orders, and I have spent $3,697.97 on DCBS Comixology.
God. Wow. Oh my God.
But I did go all digital in 2011.
Well, because it's funny because they're closing that portal finally.
That has closed in August of 2019.
Wow.
So of those $3,600, since October 2011, when the program started, I went all the way back to see like what the first comic I bought on the DCBS version of the Comixology site was.
Yeah.
I accrued $185.42 of credit, which I used all of it. Wow. And I used that credit to buy. The first thing I bought was actually a couple years ago. I don't know what I was waiting on. Maybe I forgot about it.
Watchmen. I bought
physical items with this shit.
Okay.
I bought the DC Batman Andy Kubert statue from the Dark Knight 3 Master Race.
Okay.
The mini statue.
Yeah.
I bought the Mark Silvestri Batman Black and White statue, which got, what was it, last month? Mm-hmm. I bought the Batman Black and White Joe Mad statue, which supposedly came out last week. Should be shipping soon to me.
Wow. Joe Mad. Okay. All right.
Joe Mad. It's a pretty cool statue.
All right.
All this shit will be on the YouTube channel, BK's Bullets, on YouTube. And I bought the Azrael Asbat's Nightfall cowl, which I think comes out in February.
Okay.
Some money went to that.
A cowl for you to wear, or is it a?
No, it's a mini cowl. They're bigger than your fist a little bit.
Okay.
The first DCBS order Brent ever placed was in October 2007.
That was probably right after Heroes Corner died, or thereabouts. Yeah.
So I have more.
Yeah.
So this let's go into the timeline, and then we'll go into first appearances and tags of all our contributors.
Okay.
So the timeline, Comic Timing, Episode 0, Ian and Toby, April 30th, 2006.
Toby Cook's still out there, by the way. He follows me on Instagram.
Still alive, Toby Cook.
Yep.
Episode 1 was published May 1st, 2006, so like the next day?
We had Episode 0 in a can. And then we recorded Episode 1, and I think I had originally had a different website, and that's why like some of the dates might be a little bit weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so now we're going by comic book numbering anthology rules in terms of notable numbers.
Yep.
So Episode 10, July of 2006. Mm-hmm. Episode 25, November 2006.
Okay.
Pretty good clip.
Yeah.
Episode 50, November of 2007.
Okay.
So I remember in college when I first joined, we were doing like weekly episode recordings on Thursday nights.
Yep.
9 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, I was talking about that with somebody the other day. It's like, back in college it was a lot easier to be regular.
Yes, I remember doing episode 50 in one of old Amanda's apartments, being upstairs while her and her friends were downstairs, and I like had my laptop and my headset sitting on her grandma's old chair.
Yep.
Recording episode 50. Episode 63. Now it's not a comic book anniversary, but it is the 2-year anniversary of Comic Timing, May 2008.
All right.
That's only notable because I actually searched anniversary, and that was the only one that was marked.
That might have been the one that we actually did like a clip show for. Because I remember there was one where like I inserted, like we were like, what were our favorite moments, and I inserted clips in, so that may be why that's specifically noted.
Episode 75, November 2008.
So a little less regular.
Missed this one.
Yeah, you did.
That's all I have to note is that I was not on that episode.
What?
I don't remember what it was. You got to go back and look.
Who was on it? I gotta look this shit up. Yeah, it's like while we're
here. It's 75. It's not important.
Yeah. By the way, we are outside. That's why you might be hearing trains.
There's a train coming.
Yeah, there was a train coming right now.
Do we want to talk about the train for 5 minutes?
Well, I think that the train.
How long is this train?
It could be an Amtrak. I think it is a train.
It looks like an Amtrak.
Yeah. Well, you know what? While we talk about the train,
I'll
only
like
go ahead
8 cars, so we'll vamp for a little bit.
Yeah. No. We'll definitely vamp. While we're vamping, I'll look up who was on episode 75.
Because this is on Brent's recording, and you know he doesn't edit shit out.
Oh, I sure as hell know. That's why I'm already looking for it. That is a loud train.
We are right next to the train tracks.
All right, let's see.
Halfway through the train. If you're looking for the Train podcast, you're in the right spot.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'll wait for this to pass, but episode 75 was one of my favorites, actually. Not just because you weren't on it. All right, I'll wait for it to entirely
3 more
pass.
cars.
Yep, almost there.
Crosses.
Almost there. It is indeed an Amtrak.
Here comes a caboose.
Oh, there we go.
Of which there are no cabooses on Amtrak's, just another car.
Yep. So that was actually a comics podcast theme event, Politics and Comics. November 3rd, 2008. I remember we were set to record and something came up that day. Like you had to drop out
or something.
Yeah, something like that. A hot date with the same person you've been dating since high school.
Yes.
Chad Burdett, John Carroll, and Juan and Raph of Geeks Unite, filling in for the missing Brent Cassina. And as we talk about Obama and McCain one-shots, DC decisions, and plenty more, just to date you of exactly when that took place in 2008. So yeah, that was episode 75.
So episode 100, January 2010.
Partially from Seattle. From Seattle, I remember that.
Episode 125, September 2011.
So we've been taking a while.
Yes, now here's the slowdown.
Oh boy,
here comes the big slowdown.
Oh shit.
Because Brent got married in 2010, so that may have something to do with it.
By the way, I will add episode 125 was September 2011, like you mentioned. Episode 127 was the new DCU.
Yes.
So that dates us of exactly when that was taking place.
Yes, exactly.
We went ahead and reviewed Justice League number 1 and Flashpoint number 5.
Episode 150, January 2014.
Oh, Lordy.
So 3 years to get another 25 episodes.
That's about right. Yeah. Not just.
We did get a little better because episode 175 is December of 2015.
Okay.
So 2 years.
All right.
For 25 episodes, that's a little more than one a month. That's pretty good.
Not bad. Ooh, actually, and 150 was a CGS Presents. That was that was us and the Comic Geek Speed boys.
Right.
That was the one with Jamie on it, if I remember correctly. That might have been the only one.
I did not take notes on who was on what episode.
Yep.
I'm sorry. You can go back, dear listener, and listen to all of these.
Those were our team books, our favorite team books. That episode. Yep.
Okay, and then episode 199.
Yep.
October 2019.
Yep.
So you have 4 years for 24 episodes. That's bad.
Yeah, that is bad.
You have been really busy. I have been really busy.
We have both been very, very busy, and I mostly put that on my fault for not actually coordinating shit as well as I should.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We will call this phase the 175 to 199, 200 era. Brent calls this affectionately the puppy love phase of comic timing. This is when Ian and Martha... Bruce's mom fell into puppy love, and we kind of lost Ian there for a bit. We had to pull him back and remind him that we were still alive.
Why did you say that name? Why did you say that name? That Martha? Why did you say that name? I can't.
That's Batman's mom's name.
Why did you say that name?
Superman's mom's name.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you haven't heard this joke before?
Release the Snyder Cut.
Yes, exactly.
No, please don't release the Snyder Cut.
So here we are. December 1st,
December 1st,
2019, with episode 200.
Yep. Part of me wants to look up and see what was released in December, the first year we were doing this show. So I'm gonna take a look at that now. Yeah.
I got more. I got plenty more.
Go ahead.
First appearances.
Yeah.
First appearance of Brent.
Okay.
Episode 22.
Yep.
2006.
I remember that.
Now, these are not in chronological order. These are in order of, like, who's on the show now.
Right.
And then goes into, everybody else. And then I have all of our contributors and how many times they were on.
After all, then. Jesus.
That's a car, not a motorcycle.
That is a car, yeah.
I did not go to... I probably didn't get everyone. I got to a bunch of people who were on the show twice.
Okay.
And then kind of gave up because I was getting tired.
That's fine.
Okay. So, first appearance, Brent, episode 22 to the October 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Raph, episode 29, January 2007.
Okay.
Brandon, episode 30, January 2007.
Yep. Yeah, he was a CGS forums regular at that point.
Yes.
Yep.
Jamal Eigel, dear friend of the show. Episode 72, the CGS Super Show, September 2008.
Yep.
He was a full guest on episode 94, the San Diego Comic-Con wrap-up of September 2009.
That is true, yep. That was one that we were both at. That was the last... was it the last one? Yeah, because I did 07 and 09 in San Diego Comic-Con, so that was the second one I was at.
Donovan Morgan Grant first appeared in episode 125, September 2011.
Okay.
Chad Burdett
Ooh, Chad.
An old favorite.
Yep.
Episode 47, CGS 300 wrap-up episode.
For a while there, Chad was on our yearly wrap-ups for a while.
Yes, he was.
Yep.
John Mayo first appeared in the Civil War Delay special, August 2006.
Okay.
Do you remember this episode? The Civil War Delay was such a big deal.
I remember
we
this.
We did an episode.
Yeah.
CGS did an episode. Here comes another fucking train.
Oh my fucking god! And this one's actually a cargo train.
This one is long.
Yeah, this one's a long one, so it's going to take a little bit longer.
Let's actually pause for this one.
Yeah, this might be a good idea. Let's say
pause or stop button.
Let's say.
These fucking trains. So new recording.
All right, we're done. We're done pausing after the long ass cargo train.
01, 02.
Yeah.
Clicking.
Yeah. We're good.
Recording.
We're good. We're good. I'm looking at it right now.
All right.
Where were
First
you?
appearances.
Okay,
yes. So we were talking about the John Mayo first appearance, the Civil War Delay special of August 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And that was such a big deal. CGS did an episode on it, I think, featuring John Mayo as well. And he appeared on mine. I know they did one.
Yeah.
That was such a big... I don't know why. That was such a big deal. Civil War is coming out. The biggest event in comics at the time.
Right.
Bigger than Infinite Crisis.
Right.
And Steve McNiven needs more time to finish the book, and everybody flips their fucking lid. I know we did.
Well, because for a while there, like, this was the first real time that this shit had happened for a major event. Like, they almost always regularly came out exactly when you expected them to.
And they took, like, I don't know what the time was. I don't remember if it was a month later or 2 months.
It was at least a 2-month delay, if I remember correctly. Well, meanwhile, now fucking Doomsday Clock is like, what, 3 years late,
man,
all things considered?
I'm going to do something on my YouTube channel when that finally wraps up. I'll have to reread all 12 issues and rip that one a new one.
I look forward to...
It was a waste of money,
oh my God.
Sure.
I look forward to finishing this season of Watchmen and then reading Doomsday Clock and comparing Watchmen sequels, which I think honestly should be an episode of the show. Like, we should probably do that as an
that's
episode.
A good idea.
Yeah, because so far,
but Doomsday Clock, to get away from our comic timing facts, has spent 11 issues building up to a confrontation between Superman and Dr. Manhattan that hasn't properly built up.
Right. Well, which is why I prefer the Watchmen, TV show, because that's just building a world and isn't bothering to try and like convert it over to DC, which I found stupid to begin with. So whatever. I mean, so far that show is hitting every single button for me, and I freaking love it. This most recent episode, as we're recording this, was the Hooded Justice reveal, and it's amazing. It's one of the best episodes of television I've ever seen.
Can't wait to watch it.
It's as good as Leftovers was in season 2 already in season 1.
Oh, the dreaded Leftovers.
Love me some Leftovers.
Okay, so still on John Mayo. He first appeared on a regular episode 20A.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't know when we started doing this A-B shit like Raging Bullets.
Oh, no.
There were a few.
That is why we started doing it. We started doing that when they did it because we were posers and we wanted to copy. That's exactly what it was.
That was your poserness.
I know.
I don't know.
I know. I thought it was being cool.
So I don't know. I didn't count how many half-part episodes we had.
Yeah.
That's why I have the 331 posts in WordPress.
Yeah.
And 293 published podcasts, I guess. To make note of some of these,
there were ones that were just
parts.
There were ones that were just too freaking long. Like that's why we cut them up. Like we had a few like 4-hour recording sessions there, and I'm like, do I really want to put this out as a 4-hour podcast? Like, come on.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Julian Lytle first appeared on episode 43, August 2007.
Your favorite guy to get in an argument with?
My favorite. Morrison Lover.
Yep.
Sean I say it's a term of endearment, not a dig.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Whalen of Raging Bullets fame first appeared in episode 10A.
Yep.
July 2006.
Have not had them on in way too long. We'll have to correct that at some point.
Bob Britall.
Yep.
Episode 223, November 2006. Mm-hmm. He was on recently.
Yes, he was. Yep.
Mr. I don't know if he's still the record holder, but last that I know, the world record holder for biggest collection.
Pretty sure he still is. Yeah, last I checked. And he was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Heroes Corner first appeared.
Oh, dear.
Episode 64. Became the sponsor officially with episode 65.
Yeah.
Both in June 2008.
Yeah.
That first sponsored episode, our first monthly picks.
Yep.
Were Amazing Spider-Man, JR Returns, 568, ASM 568, Booster Gold 11, Chuck Dixon fill-in. I don't know why the fuck we picked that, because the regular run was way better than the Chuck Dixon fill-in.
I agree.
And Doctor Who: The Forgotten, #1 with Pia Guerra art.
That was actually a good series.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that. I actually have the trade sitting on my shelf.
Okay.
I know you weren't a big fan because you're not a big Doctor Who guy.
I had no clue what Doctor Who was at that point.
Now, let me get a little confessional here for a minute. All things considered now, like long after the fact, do you think Heroes Corner was a good idea for us? Because we basically took sides back in the day. Like, it was between Heroes Corner and DCBS, and we went Heroes Corner.
At that point in time, I was a DCBS customer, and we got sponsored by them.
Yeah.
And we were getting to do these cool picks, which I think they were like 75 cents or $1 books.
Yeah.
For our listeners or whoever else wanted. We had a featured thing on the website.
Yep.
I think that was a good thing for... Now, I don't know how Heroes Corner did in terms of us bringing people to them.
Yeah.
I know we did get a little piece of the pie when they used the promo code.
We did.
For a couple times, and that was nice.
Yeah.
For you to pay for, all
hosting
the server
costs
fees and
have
stuff.
You. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it was just cool to be a part of and have a feature on the site.
Yeah.
When DCBS sponsored us in episode 106 of May 2010, we didn't get anything out of that, really.
Well, we had a promo code.
Sponsoring a whole bunch of people. We had a promo code, too, but...
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
There were so many podcasts they were sponsoring at that time that it wasn't...
I think that Heroes Corner was a success up until around the time that Bob and Sam stopped emailing. Like, when clearly they had left the company and didn't bother to actually, like, let people know.
Well, it just shows you that it went from a good 2 years...
Yep.
June 2008 to May 2010.
Yep.
Of Heroes Corner.
That's true.
Yeah. And I don't remember I wasn't on the inside of baseball of all that stuff between you and them. I just knew we were picking picks.
They were good standing
doing
with...
Review Corner stuff.
Yep.
Their site works. They shipped on time. Yep. What I liked about the Review Corner books is that when you got them, they actually had a Heroes Corner sticker on the back.
That's true.
Which I really liked. You didn't have to seal them up with your own tape. Mm-hmm. I don't know what DCBS does now.
They still... I think they might...
Still loose?
I think they're still loose, if I remember correctly. I know they had a good deal going with Sean Pryor for a while there, too, where for his podcast and for his self-published books, where they would promote them as well. So
So, I don't know. I've only used DCBS in the last, 3 years to order those statues to reclaim my Comixology credit.
Yep.
Now that I'm all digital. Okay. So, back to first appearances. So, yes, like I said, DCBS first appeared as a sponsor, episode 106, May 2010. The Review Corner that month, True Blood #1. Superman 701, that was Grounded Part 1 with JMS and Eddie Barrows.
Oh, God.
Superman Walks Across America.
Talk about the hype it didn't deliver. Oof.
And X-Men #1, Curse of the Mutants. X-Men vs. Vampires.
Oh, dear.
Victor Gischler on writing and Paco Medina on art. That was the best book I think we reviewed that month.
That is true. And I remember that book started off really strong and then really petered by the end. Like, it had a good idea going. Yeah. I like vampires and X-Men. They go well together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's all the contributors and how many tags they have in the database. So, some of these are combined a little bit because you used a different name, whatever.
Yeah.
But this is how many times you're tagged in the tags. So if Ian or I forgot to tag you in the tags versus in the episode description, you may be missing a number 2 here or there.
Sure.
So forgive us that oversight. But I would say we're probably pretty good based on how many fucking people are on here.
Oh, I know.
So over 200 episodes, Ian Levinstein has appeared in tags.
I've clearly forgotten to tag myself
205 times.
Yeah. I considering I appeared on all of them, I think I forgot myself a few times.
Brent Cassina, 144 times.
Yeah. It's not bad.
Raph or Raphael Suhu.
Yes.
He's in there as Raph 47 times and 5 as Raphael.
All right.
So we need to pick a fucking tag for him.
I think we're mostly going Raphael Suhu, but I think...
Brandon Christopher, 44.
All right.
Geeks Unite.
Oh boy.
28.
Yeah.
So this is in like descending order. So.
Yeah. Well, they were big for a while. They were never big, but they were big with us.
Well, I liked listening to their content.
By the way, mass props to Juan, by the way. Because
Juan is now a New York police officer?
No, I don't think so. I'm not sure.
He was in a cop's uniform at some graduation. It looked like he was entering boot camp or coming out of it.
It's possible. All I know is that he's lost a lot of weight.
He looks damn good.
Yeah, he looks amazing. Yeah. Because he was doing, like editorial writing stuff for a while.
Mm-hmm. And he was doing like cameraman work and stuff like that.
Yeah. He's doing a little bit of everything.
I saw on Facebook. So Juan, if you're out there,
Yep.
And all your last names. Congratulations. Good job, buddy. We're proud of you.
Yes, indeed.
Chad Burdett,
Yep.
20 times.
Mm-hmm.
John Mayo, 19 times.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal Eigel. Sorry, I don't know why that came out weird.
Eigel.
17 times. Tied with Julian Lytle.
Yep. 17
times.
You got Pryor on that list?
NYCC is at 16.
Uh-huh.
This is just tags, right?
Yeah.
Sean Pryor, right after those guys, with 16 times.
Yep.
David Price, 16.
Yep.
Juan De Jesus, we were just talking about him, 14 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yanni, 14 times.
Yanni.
Sean Whalen, 14 times.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Naudus, 14, and 3 plus 3 for her full name, so really she's 17.
Yeah.
We'll count.
Yeah.
Raging Bullets, 13 times.
Whatch?
Tags.
Whatch?
The Duke of Whattish.
Oh, man.
Gerald Taylor. I don't know if that's a good joke for them now or what. That was an old joke for us.
He's still. I listened to the beginning of a couple of episodes recently. He's still the Duke of and he's added on a few extra.
Oh man, okay.
Yeah, a few extra terms.
Daryl Taylor 12 times.
Yeah, saw him at New York Comic Con.
Ephantis 12 times.
Uh-huh.
So that means my math is bad because we've done 17.
Clearly, yep. Somebody forgot to tag somebody.
Yeah, somebody. Me.
Yeah.
That's a truck on our end.
Yep.
Matt Summer 11 times.
Mm-hmm.
Adam and Comfort 8 times.
Yep.
Now that's a little nebulous because I think they may have been tagged separately, but I don't know if I added or whatever, but
It's fine. Either way.
I think Adam and Comfort by itself. Oh, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, and then they might have been Comfort and Adam a couple of times also.
Where's they deleted? Why did I delete that?
And no.
No, bring it back.
Did you lose it?
No.
Okay. All right.
For some reason, it went delete.
That's weird.
Adam and Comfort, Donovan Morgan Grant 8 times.
Yep.
Bob Bretal. Oh shit, he must have been 8. There's no number there.
All right.
But he's above the 7, so he's either
we'll go
7
with
or an 8.
We'll go with 8. Yeah.
Chris Chavez 7 times.
Equinox.
Chris Johnson 7 times.
Oh my God, I haven't talked to Chris Johnson in a while.
Spider-Man lover, then a
Yep.
Spider-Man hater.
A little bit of both.
I think I still follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, he's more in the movies now than anything else, and he loves to hate on generic movies like Marvel movies and what have you.
Art house snob, maybe.
Yeah, basically.
Love you, Chris.
Yep.
Damian Smith 7 times.
Yeah.
Toby Cook 7 times.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a voice we haven't heard in a long time. Umar.
Whoa.
DeFixer 7 times.
I ran into DeFixer very shortly at New York Comic Con this year, actually, and he looks like he's doing well.
Wayne Cordova 6 times.
He might be starting up his podcast again. Last I checked. Yeah.
The Geek Speak co-host challenge appeared 5 times.
Talk about something I never followed up on.
I was going to go back and list who all applied, but I got all the way down to 2s and then said I'm going to bed and never came back.
That's fine. Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I know the Yanni was
one of those. He was one of them. Yes. As was Lori.
Yes, Lori.
Yep.
She's coming up here.
Yep.
Sean Cummings 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Vito Del Sante 5 times.
Man, Sean Cummings. That's another name we haven't heard from in a while. I still hear from Travis every now and then.
Travis is still out there on the art scene. He's there at MegaCon. I saw him last year.
Nice.
Or this year in 2019.
Right on.
He's still doing his thing.
Good.
Vito Del Sante. That's a name I don't recognize.
Vito Del Sante used to work at JHU. He's the guy who did that take on Nightwing that came out through Action Lab a little while ago. The name of the Batman character was the Doberman. I'll look it up, but he's a friend of mine.
One of your buds.
Yeah.
Adam Murdo 4 times. CGS Super Show tagged 4 times.
Yep. Some of my favorite live episodes.
That is a
right
van
there.
with pumping bass.
Yep. Because clearly they want to hear every single thing that they are listening to, and they want us to as well.
Heath Holland 4 times.
Okay.
Jason Wood 4 times.
Jason Wood.
John Carroll. Jason Wood, who I follow on Twitter and sometimes reply to.
Yeah. Never
replies back. I wonder if he blocked me.
Stray was the name of the comic that Vito Del Sante worked on.
I'm just loving on you, Jason.
Yep.
John Carroll 4 times. Marathon Man. Just Bill 4 times.
Yep.
Steve Bryant 4 times. Gabe Perez 4 times.
An episode of the podcast that a lot of people probably won't even get anymore was the episode where we talk about Just Bill's podcast that doesn't exist.
Andrew Charapar 4 times.
Charapar.
J.K. Woodward 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Rosenberger 3 times.
Yep.
Dave Wachter 3 times.
Wachter is working on TMNT comics now.
Cool.
Yep.
Freddie E. Williams II 3 times. I just read the infected scarab issue.
Yep.
He did a great job on that.
Yeah, no, he's doing a really good job. I had a interview with him that I lost when my computer died, that I would have been releasing.
So many things you've lost because of your fucking computers.
I know, because computers suck.
Leroy Rivera, a.k.a. Ziggo, only 3 times.
Yeah, we've talked about him a lot, but actually having him on is a hard thing to do.
I think I interact with him on Facebook more than I do half the other people on this list.
You're probably
on
right.
Comic stuff.
Yeah, no, because he's doing a really good job with ComicTube right now.
He is.
Brought that back to life as a YouTube channel /
It's on
slash
Facebook
podcast.
as well.
Facebook,
his memes are all over the place.
Yep.
I don't know if they're his memes or if he's stealing them, but
yeah, a little A,
I always see them from ComicTube before anywhere else.
Yep.
Right? Basically. Yeah. Lori Thomas is tagged here as 3 times.
Yep.
I think her, yes, Tamalo is also tagged an additional 3 times. So we'll give Lori a bump to 6. We should have mentioned you earlier, Lori, but I'm sorry.
Lori's always been a really, really good friend online, and she tried to pitch in a little bit with the RAF stuff not too long ago.
Oh, good for her.
Yep.
Thank you, Lori.
Yep.
Mike Norton 3 times.
Yep. Most cuddly man in comics.
Patrick 3 times.
Patrick.
I don't know what this guy's last name.
Patrick.
If I stop typing it or what?
Is it not Patrick? I'm trying to remember.
You have to go back. It starts with Patrick.
All right, fair enough.
Jay Ferguson 3 times. Torch Song 3 times.
Oh wow.
Travis Earls 3 times.
Yep.
Vince. I had to spell this. Check the spelling 3 times when I did
this.
Bonavoglia.
Vince B.
Vince B.
Vince B of 11
Now
o'clock.
I know why it's B.
Yep.
3 times.
Yep.
Martheus Wade 3 times.
Martheus.
The Fixer.
Yep.
3 times. So that really should be added to Umar.
Yep.
7, which gives him a total of 10. Now, are those separate appearances? Or are those tagged?
They're probably the same. All things considered, they're probably the same person. Yeah. It surprises me how many of these people I actually still am somewhat in touch with online after all these years.
A lot of these people I am also friends on Facebook with.
Yep.
Chad Ciccone 3 times.
Yep.
Brian Jail Glass 3 times.
Mr.
Dean
Glass.
Stahl 3 times.
Yep.
Austin Cantrell 3 times.
Recently found out that Brian Glass was the guy behind like this big like Area 51 hoax that aired on a radio program at one point, where he called into a radio program that was trying to find out more information on Area 51, and he called in as a worker at Area 51. And by pure coincidence, the radio feed cut out in the middle of him. So they thought that perhaps the government had stepped in to stop it, but it was Brian the entire time.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Okay, I said Dean Stahl 3 times.
Yep.
Austin Cantrell 3.
Yep.
Al Sparrow 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
Pants 2 times.
52.
Ryan Deemer 2 times.
Yep.
Chris Gallo 2 times.
Yep.
Jen Capelli 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Freeman 2 times.
All right.
That's as far as I got.
Now,
so there were some more 2s, some more 1s. Brent went to sleep, so I'm sorry if you did not listen here. But
well, see that
everyone we did list.
Yes.
Thank you for being a part of Comic Timing.
Absolutely.
For the past 200 episodes.
And adding in Brent falling asleep just makes it work even more in the whole Comic Timing oeuvre, as it were. Yeah, for all the episodes you did fall asleep,
yes.
And I wanted having to wake you up with a scream as you're snoring into the mic back in the college days.
That was not tagged. You should have tagged that as like an event.
I really should have tagged that. There are at least 2 individuals that have passed since Comic Timing started that I want to bring up real quick. Jamie D, obviously, of Comic Geek Speak, who was on our episode 150. And unfortunately, one of the guys who I had on as part of the Geek Speak Challenge, Troy Mata, passed away recently. I think back in August. I didn't really find out about that until somebody was tagging him randomly on Facebook. But unfortunately, that's the way the world works, and you lose people. But since the last time we were recorded, Raphael Su, who has a new kidney.
Raphael Su, who has a new entity living in his body. We'll call it his kidney.
Yep.
He probably has a name for it already. Who knows?
It's probably Martha, if I know him well enough.
You know, I think it should be named Shirley.
Yeah, maybe. Or parents are dead. Just one word.
And that could be when he talks about it, it could be, oh, this is my parents are dead.
Exactly. There we go. I think that works really nicely. But yeah, Raph's recovering right now. You can go ahead and contribute to his GoFundMe if you'd like. He's still waiting on his disability to show up. just go ahead and go on GoFundMe and look for Raf Suhu, and you'll find it. But he's out of the hospital, and he's getting himself back in shape. So hopefully we'll never have to do the dialysis again in his life. That'd be nice.
That would be an awesome thing.
That is a piece of shit.
My mother-in-law was a dialysis nurse before she got her RN.
Yeah.
Got her RN and worked for kidney transplant places here in Orlando.
Yeah.
For one of the big hospitals, and was like a transplant coordinator, and then got a promotion and went back to like a dialysis center head kind of thing. So I know a little bit about it, and it does not sound pleasant. So
no, it is not.
If that doesn't happen to Raph ever again, I think we all will be very happy.
That would be nice. Just please make sure that if you have a cold, don't be around Raph. Just don't do it. He's immunocompromised, people. Come on. He's gonna have to walk around like one of those Japanese guys with a mask.
I was gonna say he's gonna be one of those typical Asian people with the mask on his face the whole time.
Exactly.
You know what we should do? We should buy one of those ET suits.
Okay, since you mentioned it, all right. They had that ET ad air during the Thanksgiving Day parade this year, which was just a giant ad for Xfinity in the end, which apparently they've already aired overseas with different cable companies taking the place of Xfinity. I hated that fucking ad.
I did not see it. I went on a joyride in my sister-in-law's new car.
Oh, yeah?
And I came back, and Amanda was in the chair. The kids were running around at my mother-in-law's place.
Yeah.
She had her hands over her eyes. I was not watching. I went, what the fuck is going on? And she looked on the TV, and there was E.T. on the television. Now, my wife has had an unusual fear of E.T.
What?
Ever since she was little.
That's Martha's favorite movie.
Apparently, they'll get along great. Apparently, she was traumatized as a child by watching E.T., possibly at a too young age.
Okay.
To the point which, when we first started dating, the appearance of an E.T. doll...
Oh, no.
Frightened her.
The
imitation of the voice, E.T. phone home, would frighten her, piss her off. Doing the finger thing would frighten. So she's fearful enough. She knows all the cues. But,
so
it was a whole thing. So she's been on the E.T. ride numerous times. Every time we go to Universal, I'm like, come on.
Trying to get over her fear.
But it wasn't until after we got married, I want to say 2012, that she rode it for the first time. And that was her, quote unquote, getting over her fear of E.T. Obviously, which is bullshit if she can't watch this ad.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So yes, I've heard you talk about it. I need to...
does she also hate Reese's Pieces while she's at it?
She's allergic to peanuts, so yeah.
Well, there you go. There you go. Okay, fine. Maybe that's the reason why she's really afraid in the end. She's afraid that E.T. is going to reach her finger out and reach his finger out and wind up, poisoning her with the power of peanuts or something like that. How the hell are we supposed to know, man?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Oh my god, that's awesome. So, what you been reading lately?
I gotta pull out my iPad. Look at my...
I mean, obviously we gotta talk comics of some sort, man.
So I recently bought, with the Black Friday sales, I bought all of The Wicked and the Divine.
Oh, nice.
I read the first trade on Comixology, and I really liked that. And I was not a fan of the Young Avengers thing they were doing, but this was different enough. I like who's the artist? Jamie McKelvey. His art's cool.
Yeah.
But I read the New Avengers stuff that they were doing with Miss America Chavez and all that stuff. Yeah. It didn't click with me.
I really like the Young Avengers.
I know you liked it.
That's what you're talking about. The
yes.
the Karen Gillan stuff. Yeah.
So I did buy all of that. I was like, I really like number one. I'm willing to read more.
Yeah.
They had it all for $5, so I was like, fuck it, let's get it. This will be my purchase.
Yeah.
I've been reading the Dark Multiverse specials. Have you read these?
Oh, I've been meaning to start them because they're right up my alley. I'm a huge alternate reality guy.
Yes, the one that was released this past week was the Infinite Crisis one.
Okay.
Where basically Blue Beetle turns it around on Maxwell Lord, shoots him, then takes his place.
Oh shit!
And then somehow solves all the problems of the world, defeats the heroes, and then becomes OMAC Senior himself.
Really?
Kind of thing.
Come on.
But the art's done by Aaron Lopresti.
Okay.
The nice thing about these specials is they're all 50 pages.
Okay.
So they're pretty lengthy. They're not quick. I remember when Marvel was doing the What If reboots of it, and they were only doing their events for a while. It was
right.
We'll give you 48 pages of the World War Hulk What If. and then only like 30 pages of that were the main story, and then there was a secondary one.
Right.
These are 50 pages. They're meaty books.
Okay.
So they're worth the money.
These are pretty much what ifs. Like that's what they're rolling with.
They're all they're that Tempest Fugonaut guy from the Speedster, whatever. What the fuck? The Dan DiDio written book.
Oh.
And Kenneth Rockefort was on art. With the helmet.
Yep.
He's in here, and I guess he's kind of like the Watcher of the DC universe now.
Okay.
I thought we had the monitors for that shit.
A Dan DiDio created character is around. That's
so that was that. The Blackest Night one was okay. It features Sinestro, but not really. It's like, what if Sinestro had a black ring and a white ring, but they never really go into that. Like if one was on each hand.
Well,
and he's basically Two-Face. One side is alive, one side is dead.
Well, clearly he solves racism. That's what he does.
No.
No? Okay.
He does not.
Ah, man.
What
That's
else?
a shame.
What else did I buy?
What if Sinestro had constantly was at war with himself?
Dark
like...
Multiverse? I gotta call it What If, but the Dark Multiverse Death of Superman.
Okay.
Which Lois Lane becomes the Eradicator and fuses with that right after Superman dies.
Okay.
Is pretty cool.
All right. That's cool.
The What If Nightfall, or not What If, the Dark Multiverse Batman Nightfall was the first one that came out. I got real excited when they released the character designs.
Yeah.
Is that here comes Saint Batman, Jean Paul Valley.
Right.
I was like, cool.
And it wasn't?
And it wasn't that cool.
Who wrote it?
Snyder and Kyle Higgins.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
It's got some weird thing where they jump way forward into the future, and then Bruce Wayne is like this head on a head and a spinal cord connected by wires into this thing, and Azrael goes and talks to him once in a while, and then Bane and Talia's son comes out, new character.
All right.
And he is like one of these guys that can turn on the venom at a whim, so he's this really shrimpy guy.
Yeah.
And then he turns on the venom, and then he's like bigger than Bane, and then he saves him, and then they turn the Bruce Wayne head and spinal cord into a robot, and they go against Saint Batman
this
and all his
insane.
Guys. It is kind of insane.
Yeah.
It's not what I was looking for out of it, but it's like, instead of going just recently into the future, like this one goes way into the future, and it loses kind of the connecting tissue.
Got it.
The Death of Superman one is like right after it, so it's all connective.
You're saying that it loses the spinal cord of the issue?
The Blackest Night one is kind of like Saint Batman, where it goes way into the future, like what if they lost, and Sinestro's the only living person around, and Lobo and not Dawn, Dove is around.
Okay.
And then this other one, the last one, the Infinite Crisis one is like takes place all in the event of the events. So
nice.
That's fun. The Justice League book.
Yeah.
I was listening to the Black Panther review we did, and we were talking about Snyder, me not enjoying metal.
Right.
He was taking over Justice League. The Justice League run of Scott Snyder is actually very, very good.
Yeah, I'm going to sit down and read it all at some point. I haven't really started it yet.
It's all on here. It's all very good.
Good.
It's actually like, it starts off a little wonky with like the totality and what the hell is the totality. Once they get past that, and then get into like Perpetua, which is like the mother of the Monitors.
Yeah. And
basically in this universe now, there's never like the whole city. Nick Zuotan doesn't exist.
Okay.
Kind of thing. It's Monitor, Anti-Monitor, and the third guy whom they introduce in this series.
Monitor, Anti-Monitor, and Chuck.
Oh, he's the World Forger.
Oh, his name isn't Bob?
So this is the guy who actually forged all the worlds or whatever. These three guys are brothers. Their mother's name is Perpetua. And she's supposed... Well, here's what the weird part that I still don't quite understand, and they probably haven't gone into yet. She is the actual creator of the multiverse.
Oh.
But she's dismayed with this multiverse, so she's trying to destroy it.
Okay.
In order to create a perfect one in which everyone is an apex predator version of humanity.
Okay.
Which is what Lex Luthor is now.
Apex Lex.
That's where Apex Lex comes from.
I love that name.
But she is afraid of the people behind the source wall.
Okay.
So she's trying to do all this now that the source wall has broken.
Right.
And come in and all this stuff.
Is that the dark multiverse behind that?
No, this is something different than that.
The Marvel Universe?
So
The Wildstorm universe?
The annual where the source wall breaks. It was a Justice League annual. And I thought this was going to be a throwaway story.
I really like how you put that, because it really sounds like on an annual basis the source wall breaks, which is kind of true anyway.
Kind of true.
Yeah.
But the annual in which the source wall breaks is a fantastic fucking story.
Yeah.
It is so good.
All right.
And I thought it was going to be like a throwaway annual like most of them are.
Right.
No, they made a big deal about Snyder on Twitter was like, oh, big deal. This is you need to pay attention to this, whatever. So I read it, and that was since that point.
Yeah.
The book has gone like gangbusters for me on the good side of the spectrum.
Okay.
So it is very, very good.
That's cool.
It's lost all the Morrison-y, Yellow Submarine music bullshit that Dark Knight's Metal had that I know you enjoyed. I just listened to you talk about it this morning.
I mean, come on, man.
Flash, still good?
Yeah.
Josh Williamson Flash, have you dove into this yet?
I have dove into it slightly. I'm just about to start year one.
So good. Year one is fun.
I love the fact that he's still on it. Like,
he's on it. 83 issues in.
Yeah. I brought that up on a recent CGS. Nobody's really acknowledging the fact that he's been on it since.
No, everybody's sucking Tom King's dick, and City of Bane sucks right now.
Yeah.
But 83 issues in, Josh Williamson is the new star of the DC Universe.
That's great.
And I've been singing his praises on Flash since the beginning. And he's also the writer of Birthright.
Okay.
Which is awesome and is coming to an end, I think, at the end of the next arc.
Okay.
Which is a bummer, but he's killing it on that book as well.
Nice.
This is a talent. This is a find. This guy is the next big thing.
Well, similarly, like...
He was also writing Valiant, the guy in the armor, XL Manowar.
Oh, yeah.
I read that stuff on Comixology. That stuff was also, like, amazeballs. He's really, really good.
Okay. Did you read Immortal Hulk yet?
I have read a couple issues, yeah. It's weird.
It's in a good way, though.
It's weird. All the hell stuff they're kind of doing now... I'm like, with the dad, and they're losing me.
The stuff where it really gets good is when Sasquatch shows up, and he's trying to investigate the Hulk and everything, and he winds up getting sucked in, and like there's a whole like sucking of powers like into the Hulk, and like you see like the ramifications of it afterwards. I'm not really a horror guy, and yet for some reason this is the type of horror that's really working for me. Easily the best Hulk, though, in years.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I didn't really read any of the...
the Greg Pak stuff was okay.
Yeah, the Greg Pak stuff was decent.
Like, I remember reading Planet Hulk and being like, okay, this is cool. World War Hulk was an event.
Yeah.
So that was its own thing. But anything after that, I don't think I read or really enjoyed. Mark Waid had a little bit on there. I read 2 issues, or 2 trades of those.
Oh, I remember that run.
He was like an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, one of the weakest. I mean, to be honest, and I remember praising it on the show. Like, it started off okay, but then it just really got
Well, they lost the regular artist, and then Simonson's on here doing his stuff, and it just kind of was like...
Al Ewing, though, like, that's the guy who I was trying to think of. Like, to me, he is the future of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah. I thought that dude was a black dude. He's a British dude. White British dude.
It surprised the hell out of me.
Al Ewing, I don't know. Sounds ethnic. Probably terrible for saying it.
Fine. Whatever.
I was hoping for a little more diversity, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you were hoping for somebody other than a white guy to be the next up and comer or what have you.
No, I think what it is was I was reading his stuff on Falcon, Captain America, and Falcon and the Mighty Avengers and stuff. And that stuff had a lot of black characters
and the Ultimates also.
The Ultimates. Yeah. 2, whatever that book was, with Black Panther and Blue Marvel.
Yeah.
And you had all these black characters who felt really cool, really good. Yeah. And I guess my stupid brain was like, oh, of course, the only person that can write. Well, it's kind of the saying now. It's like everybody's saying, oh, well, if you're going to have women characters in a show, then you need a woman writer or a women director. Same thing with ethnic characters, black or Latino. Well, if you're going to have black or Latino characters, you need to have a black writer, black director, for diversity's sake. But that's really not.
No, it's not. It's not the case.
It's not the case because you have Al Ewing who's doing a great job, and I think that's where I made the assumption that oh, this must be a person of color because he's writing people of color and they're fucking fantastic.
Well, you just have to factor in, like, you can't just treat them you got to treat them right. That's what I'm saying. Like you can't just go in there and be like, I'm gonna treat them like they're a white character, because they're not. At the same time, as long as you give them a diverse personality and flesh them out and do a little bit of research beforehand. Like this is what they have to deal with. Let me go ahead and work on that. Go ahead. But I like the fact that guys like Saladin Ahmed are writing Miles Morales right now and doing a good job of it.
Have you read any of Absolute Carnage?
No, I skipped it because it was called Absolute Carnage.
Oh, so what you have, well...
Is it 90s-tastic? Because I think it's 90s-tastic.
So the first issue is a double-sized issue.
Yeah.
And I will give props...
An absolute issue, perhaps?
Absolutely double-sized.
Okay.
I will give props... Who's the writer on this? Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman.
It's Donny Cates.
Donny Cates has been writing Carnage.
And Stegman.
Venom.
Stegman.
And Stegman's been the artist on Venom. I haven't been reading that specifically, but I picked up Absolute Carnage, and Stegman drew every single fucking page of this event to 200% level of awesomeness.
Okay.
This is clean Ryan Stegman. Mm-hmm. This is not dirty Ryan Stegman when he was on the Spider-Man Doc Ock book.
Oh, but that was great.
I wasn't feeling that art. This is like cleaned up Ryan Stegman. This is like super crisp.
Fair enough.
Whatever, but this art is awesome.
Yeah.
This story is a whole lot of fun. Carnage, I've never read a whole bunch of Carnage stories, but reading this book, he is a whole lot more menacing. I get the menace now of Carnage.
Okay.
Of the symbiote, of Cletus Cassidy. And there's a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know if there was like... They basically, like, the first 4 pages of the first issue is basically like a retelling of all the mythology that was set up over 6 issues in the first trade of the Venom trade paperback.
When the hell did
Comixology Unlimited? If you want to read that.
When the hell did Cletus get back in Carnage? Because like there was a time where he wasn't. I know, like he was either dead or in jail or something. I guess he got better.
Yeah, I think some of that's in there.
Okay.
They talk about the Carnage symbiote or hosts. The mob guy from, or no, he was a Venom host. The mob guy in the Marvel Knights Spider-Man run when Eddie Brock was out of it.
Right.
Basically, Carnage is finding everybody on Earth who's ever had a symbiote touch them or be part of them.
Yeah.
So remember the Venomized event where everybody got a Venom symbiote or whatever?
Yeah.
All those people are now in jeopardy.
Oh, boy.
Because Carnage is coming and basically ripping out their spines to get a thing that he calls the Codex, which is like a little piece of the symbiote left in them. And he's taking all these pieces of symbiotes that are left in all these people. And he can kill you or not kill you. It's unclear when he does this. But he's taking it and then putting them all together. And he thinks that once he does collect everyone, he will reconnect to the symbiote hive and bring forth their god Null. K-N-U-L-L.
This is sounding weirdly like Stargate right now. Like, like with the Goa'uld and...
It's good.
Okay.
Until the last issue.
Oh, no.
There is a big climax.
Yeah.
But there is... Spoilers. There is no showdown with the god Null. This event's basically all set up...
So what you're saying is that there's Null?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Null.
For future issues of the Venom book, I guess.
Okay.
And maybe bigger events to come. So it was spun out, maybe for no reason.
Okay.
But it is worthwhile. It is worth your time. It is a whole lot of fun. You can still enjoy it in itself.
Now, do you think it was perhaps, and hear me out on this, do you think it was perhaps spun out to make more money?
The fact that they still had the Venom book at the same time.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of specials.
Yeah.
And they had a Scream miniseries for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Yes,
well,
absolutely.
There were a few tie-ins to Absolute Carnage where I saw creators on it that I'm like, whoa, where the hell are you coming from? Like, I think Adam Warren has a Absolute Carnage book coming out, and that's a name I very rarely see outside of his own books these days.
It's all done, so...
All right. It's just, it's very hard for me to get excited about a book that just, like, screams 90s like that. And mind you, this is coming from a 90s kid. Like, there's only so much Darkhawk I can take, Like, I mean, it's that sort of shit. Like, I feel like they're just playing it now for us, because we're the only ones who buy comics anymore.
The event Leviathan, did you read any of this?
No, I did not.
This was a waste of time.
Oh, the event Leviathan, that was the Bendis one,
The Bendis
right?
thing with Lev. They're like, oh, who's Leviathan? Who's Leviathan?
Yeah.
And it's again, just like Absolute Carnage, it's more set up for future events, I guess, in the Superman books.
Now, did they wind up bringing back any detective characters that would be Jessica Jones for him in the DC universe?
No, basically Leviathan is some character I've never heard of.
Oh.
I think it's the Walt Simonson Manhunter or Walt
Okay.
Simonson Manhunter adjacent.
Interesting. All right. See, that may get me interested.
But Leviathan, this guy or this organization, they scoop up all of the different agencies in the DCU, of which there are too many.
Okay.
DEO, Argus, CIA, FBI, Cobra.
DEO is the one that's
the one that Bones.
I was going to say, yeah,
and the one that's in the Supergirl TV show.
Got it.
But yeah, all those guys, they basically scoop all these guys up, evaporate their buildings into nothingness, and then everybody goes, "Where'd the spies go?" Well, they all got sucked into this one organization. I guess they're all being strong-armed by one guy who wants to take over the world.
Wait, he wants to take over the world? What? Nobody ever wants to do that.
He thinks he can fix the world, and he apparently is an ex-Manhunter.
Okay. All right. His name is Pinky and Brain.
The biggest disappointment of all,
yeah,
and we'll shit on Tom King here for a second.
Oh, dear.
Is City of Bane, in which... Have you read any of these?
Yeah. No, I haven't. Way behind, dude. I'm way behind on everything. I will continue to be way behind on everything.
Right.
I'll talk about some things that I did read when you're done with your Tom King.
This is the last thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want me to spoil it?
I don't care.
You don't care?
I don't care.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This is the last two issues.
There's an entire city of Banes. There's an entire city of Banes.
It's not
Everyone
even
becomes
that
a Bane. It's called Absolute Bane.
That would be a good idea. That would be a challenge for Batman.
Yeah.
So, Bane has been coming back, I guess, this whole 100-issue storyline. Oh, I didn't get kicked off, Batman guys. My side story got spun out to a miniseries. Yeah. It's all good, guys.
Hey. It's all going to be 100 issues in the end, right?
All
including
good.
the annuals.
Bullshit. This is why this story sucks. He's been selling it as it's all been a Bane story, but that's false because the Flashpoint Batman, which appeared randomly in issue 50 out of nowhere, still not explained
Thomas Wayne,
what the fuck he's doing, is now revealed to be the ultimate mastermind because the last issue he shot Bane in the head.
What?
As they were going into their big fight.
Okay.
Yes.
So why is this called City of Bane?
Because Bane had taken over the city and made, like, all the Batman villains were now, like, constables of Bane or whatever. Which, like, we have not seen before in Arkham City, I guess. Or, that event No Man's Land kind of thing.
I highly appreciate them being called constables of Bane, though, because
I don't know about
in my
constables,
head,
but...
Oi, what's all this, then?
You have, like, Two-Face and Riddler running around with sheriff badges on their chest and it says, like, Department of Bane.
Oi, I'm Riddler. I'm the constable of Bane. I did. Yeah.
Nobody had a stupid badge or hat or anything like that.
No, that I hate it then. Worse.
So they killed Alfred though.
Yes.
And apparently this is going to stick.
I heard about it because the fucking DC solicits for an annual, not even written by Tom King, spoiled that shit for me. Even though I hadn't gotten up to it. I was really annoyed by that.
My biggest pet peeve with these Tom King Batman issues is these ones where it's all captions and a bunch of art. And then kind of like, it really could take place inside of 5 minutes.
Right.
But because he's got some long fucking speech or some long fucking poem he wants to put into the book, I swear, there are Batman Catwoman issues where they're putting in a fucking poem from T.S. Eliot. And you're just reading this poem, which Tom King did not write.
Yeah.
But he got paid to copy-paste this shit into, and then put in panel 1. Description, panel 2. So maybe he's writing what the art is, but really...
So you mean the poem wasn't even...
You're not writing any plot,
So the poem wasn't even, there once was a lady from Gotham? Like...
There's a couple of those that I fucking hate. This last one was a recording of Alfred talking to Batman before he, like, went in to go get himself killed, basically.
Okay.
But it was like, yes, this could have taken place all within the 3 minutes.
Who killed him, Bane or Thomas?
Bane did.
Okay.
In front of Damian. And then only at the end of the recording and the issue does Batman finally figure out that there's Alfred's body and he's dead. Then he goes after Bane, and I think it's at the end of that issue that Bane gets shot in the head, just as they're about to, like, really, really get it on. Like, they're, like, stripping off their armor. Batman takes his shirt off, which means he's powerless.
You're used to the word "get it on" and then stripping off shirts. By the way, you may not be doing what you're talking about.
It's very homoerotic.
Yeah, okay, all right.
But yeah, it's just like, dude, dude, you could have had a conversation with Batman and Alfred, or Bane teasing Batman and Batman talking back to Bane and building up this big fight, but instead you're going to have a recording of Alfred professing his love for Bruce, which, like, you could put in an annual and nobody would have to buy. But no, you want to make this part of the main book. I don't understand his pacing between, like, Mr. Miracle and Vision. All 12 issues all make sense.
Yeah.
Batman, 100 issues, lots of fucking filler. I'm so upset I'm still buying this book.
That's disappointing. I'm also not surprised because, like you said, like he's a very compact writer, but at the same time he always likes to put so much in that I'm not surprised it's going this way.
If I had one request for Tom King, it was don't ever give me an issue where there's no word balloon panels, like the fight between Batman and KG Beast.
Yeah.
That set me off issue 70-something.
Yeah.
That
because it started
Tony Daniel was drawing.
Yeah.
Because that's just art, and I'm not buying comics just for art. I'm buying them for a story. Mm-hmm. Especially when you're some acclaimed writer, and I loved Vision.
Right.
I thought it was great.
Right.
I liked Mr. Miracle.
Yeah. It started off so strong, though. It did. Like, it's disappointing.
Well, once the wedding didn't happen, that's when the spiral started to get noticeable.
Which frankly, like, had they not made such a big deal about the wedding in the first place, then we probably would be happier right now.
Yes.
Like, that's a given.
My guess is at the end of Bat and Cat, which is the dumbest fucking name for a miniseries I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I hope they change it.
Cat Bat.
My guess is at the end of that 12-issue miniseries, the big event they're going to tease to make you buy it is they get married, actually.
Probably. It wouldn't surprise me. And then they have Helena, and she becomes Huntress. And
Catwoman's got this new costume thanks to Joelle Jones.
Yeah.
Her fucking armpits are bare.
Let me see. Hold on.
She's covered in leather, except for her armpits.
Okay.
So is this like Catwoman sweats so much in the latex that it's uncomfortable that she needs her armpits to be bare so she can air them out while she's hanging out on the side of buildings?
Okay.
And she's not wearing deodorant or antiperspirant at all?
Clearly that's what they like. I don't know.
Let's see. It is a weird choice. Like, everything else is practically the same.
All right, let's see. New Catwoman costume. Okay, clearly it's not this one with her barely wearing anything.
It's bizarre.
Oh yeah, what the hell? The fuck? What really annoys me about this is that it's one step away from the Michelle Pfeiffer outfit.
Yeah. But with armpit holes.
Almost
as if she's going to grow like tentacles.
How is it that we go from a boob window to armpit holes?
I don't know.
The fuck, man? Because the other costume is one of the best costumes that's ever been designed for a female character.
The Brubaker one is the best one.
Period. That's it.
Or not Brubaker, Darwin Cook design costume.
Darwin Cook design. Yeah. It's so good. And, That's disappointing. That's disappointing. Well, please continue to read Batman so that you can tell me how shitty it is.
And continue to buy it on Comixology so then you can just
exactly, because I'm getting there anyway. And frankly, one of the things I wanted to talk about was the DC Universe app, because I've been reading more stuff on there lately.
I got suckered into starting that in September when Titan Season 1 ended last. Or no, was it this year?
Yeah.
I think I've been paying on this for months.
Yeah.
I have not fucking used it.
I've been using it to read.
Use it.
Yeah.
And I only for the TV shows.
Yeah.
And I have not.
The app is still janky. Like, there have been a lot of crashes for me, especially when searching for stuff.
We'll talk about janky apps. The CW app right now on Xbox is super janky.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to keep up with all these fucking shows going into this Crisis event.
Yeah. Is it as janky as your Skype app that works when you want it to work?
The last couple times I've tried to watch the CW app on my Xbox, it's crashed.
Yeah.
Like, just straight up won't load. Like, it will load, and then you go pick this episode, and then it will not play.
You know, Roku's are like $30 right now.
I have a Roku TV. I will just watch it in there.
Okay. Well,
I would like to watch my superhero-themed shows in my man cave, surrounded by superheroes.
You know, Roku's are like $30 right now.
I have a $500 Xbox.
I know.
It should fucking work.
But it doesn't. You can play it for games just fine. But
this is the problem.
For $30, you can buy yourself a Roku that actually works and use it.
This is the
problem. It's a freaking stick, man. Come on.
This is the problem.
Yeah, what's the problem?
I don't want another stick.
You know, tough shit.
It's already a smart TV.
Yeah, this is the most Seinfeld you've ever been, by the way. Why do people buy Rokus? I mean, they have Xboxes, they have streaming TVs. What are you doing?
Well, that's the reason my bedroom TV went out the Wi-Fi started cutting out, which it was a Roku TV, so we only used it that way.
Yeah.
So the Wi-Fi card starts cutting out, and I was like, well, it's probably cheaper to replace it than to fix it.
Yeah.
So we bought a new TV, and I made sure to buy a new Roku TV.
Right.
So that it would have the same functionality, and I bought a new Roku TV because apparently that's the only place that you can get an Apple TV Plus app.
On Roku's in general, yeah.
Well, like they said they're coming to Samsung's, and I bought a Samsung last year for Father's Day.
Yeah.
But no, it's only this year Samsung's and forward.
Oh, that's annoying.
And so I guess it's because they want you to have like AirPlay capability.
Well, but meanwhile,
if you just want me to pay $5 to watch your shows, dude.
Meanwhile,
put it on every fucking device available.
Which is why I'm glad I have a Roku Ultra and a Roku Premiere that just I can download shit on. That's it.
It'll work.
Yeah, it'll work. That's it.
And I'm only watching the Apple TV Plus stuff because they included a year with the purchase of a new phone.
Martha got that with her 11 too. We haven't even started anything because we've been watching Disney Plus as much as we have.
Oh God.
I'm 2 episodes in on The Mandalorian, so don't spoil me on anything that's happened there. But I'm saying I really enjoy Lone Wolf and Cub, the Star Wars edition. With Baby Yoda, it's working for me. It's slow, I admit it, but I really like what's going on. And you're making weird hand movements that the audio can't see.
That's right.
Yeah. Are you enjoying it?
It's fine. I watch it every week because I know that people are going to talk about it and the GIFs will come out.
Yeah.
So like I watched Mandalorian yesterday. And it was killing me that I waited a day because there already were like so many new stuff from the show.
Of course.
I actually enjoy watching the morning show on Apple TV Plus or whatever more than I enjoy watching The Mandalorian.
Wow. Because I've heard very mixed things about the morning show. Mostly because Reese Witherspoon's character is annoying as fuck, but that's...
We really liked Big Little Lies on HBO.
All right.
I like this.
Yeah.
Jennifer Aniston's, again, is fun. You know?
Yeah, she's being Jennifer Aniston, doing a Jennifer Aniston thing like Jennifer Aniston does.
Yes, that's fun.
All right.
It's fun.
I've been, but anyway, the DC Universe app, for reading comics, it's nice that they've added as much as they have, and they're continuing to add stuff, and now they're adding stuff from a year ago. So they've got some Justice League on there. They've got some. But
they're still adding
stuff.
And taking away movies. That's still a rotating selection.
Yeah, that's annoying. But the comics are no longer rotating.
Okay,
which is good because the comics are just always there. Like I've been putting so much shit from the 2000s that I didn't get a chance to read back then. Like the Hour Man series was very hard to find in single issues. They have that Kronos from the mid 90s and early 2000s. They have that on there. But I had to submit a ticket because I'm going through the Kyle Rayner run of Green Lantern. It's the only real Green Lantern they have from that series. It starts with like Emerald Twilight and goes on.
Right.
They have issue 99. They have issue 101. No issue 100. The start of my first Green Lantern purchase that I made as a kid. I cannot even fucking read on there because for some reason it goes 99, 101. So I submitted a ticket.
It's on Comixology. They have it digitized.
Yes, I know that, but I have to pay for it. And I'm not going to.
Oh, I'm just saying you don't have to.
I know. But DC Universe is right there. So I submitted the ticket, and they said they're going to look into it, and let's see if they actually add it.
My problem with that DC Universe app when I was scrolling through it on my phone is like you search for something, you start a series, then you go back. So you're scrolling through A to Z of all their titles.
Yeah.
You hit a thing you want to look at, Crisis on Infinite Earths.
And it goes all the way back
You hit back, you're back up at A.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like... Yeah. I was in C.
Yeah,
or worse, I was in X.
That used to be a problem with the Marvel Unlimited app too, that they've recently finally fixed. So I'm hoping they do so. But then again, who knows how much longer DC Universe is going to last with HBO Max stealing half of their fucking shows anyway.
I can see all of the TV stuff going to HBO Max
and having it just be a comics thing,
and having it just be comics focused.
Yeah. I mean, which is fine. They just renewed Young Justice for another season. So.
Or maybe the TV stuff is on DC Universe for a year.
Yeah.
And then then after a year, exclusivity or whatever, 6 months, goes to HBO Max there.
I'd be all right with that. I also have been watching Star Trek Discovery finally. And it's not great. It's good. It's just not great.
I didn't watch Enterprise. I've only watched the reboot movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched
Discovery
Next Gen. I watched DS9. I watched Voyager as a kid.
Yeah,
I haven't watched any of those as an adult. I've watched the reboot movies. That's as much as I get into it.
Discovery might be up your alley if you like the reboot movies, just because
heard,
it's way more modern.
John from Word Balloon rave and moan and bitch about it on his podcast. He hates it.
I'm liking more of, like, ever since we got to, like, the second half of the first season, it got way better. They did a whole Mirror Universe arc, which was pretty cool.
His main complaint about it is that the girl from Walking Dead,
Michael Burnham,
which is a male name for a female character.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
dumb number one. Yeah. In my opinion, just mine. Because it creates confusion.
Yeah, I agree.
Apparently, his main complaint is that character is the only one who can solve problems,
and that is annoying.
That is true.
That is annoying. It's gotten less so though, especially in season 2 when they introduce Captain Pike, from the original series. He's being played by Black Bolt.
I mean, you mean by Black Bolt, you mean the guy who barely played Black Bolt?
Exactly. He's much better in this than he ever was in that piece of crap.
Oh, I never watched any of that.
I watched like half an episode and I gave up because it was that terrible. But he's actually...
Is that on Disney Plus?
No, it is not. Actually, it might be. I think it might be,
actually. Is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Disney
Plus? Peggy Carter is. I don't know if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is, because I think that might still be on Netflix. But,
okay.
But in fact, a bunch of stuff, when you go on Disney Plus and you search, it says, like, available in 2020, because that's when their deal with Netflix is up.
Agent Carter's on here.
Yes, Agent Carter is definitely on there, because it was never on Netflix.
Inhumans.
Inhumans might be, because I thought I remember seeing it. Wow, go figure. All right. If you want to watch a pile of crap, then go ahead and watch that. I've been watching Gargoyles on Disney Plus. Gargoyles still holds up from when we were kids.
We watched one episode of Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
The kids liked it.
Good. I'm glad. They should continue to like it, because it's Darkwing Duck.
It was kind of cheesy.
It always was.
I was like, I guess I was really young when that was on.
Yeah. But the other thing, so I've been catching up on... I caught up on Young Justice.
I need to watch that.
It's excellent. I caught up on Young Justice, the comic. Bendis' comic.
Okay.
And that is really good. The only thing that's annoying is that they settle on a new name for Tim Drake.
Oh, I heard about this.
And it's Drake.
And his costume's brown.
Ugh. It's not the best.
Yeah, that will not last.
Yeah.
Once Tim Drake gets pulled back into the Bat Editors universe, that will be done away with.
Yeah.
Pronto.
But the story itself that he's crafting is actually really good. It reminds me of Peter David's Young Justice in all the right ways. It's very youthful. It's very vibrant. Impulse is great. He breaks the fourth wall and shit like that, like he should. Did
they explain how Superboy came back?
Essentially, this is the original Superboy before New 52.
But the original Superboy died in Infinite Crisis? He got shunted off into a parallel universe, which is this universe, until the point of his death, upon which he gets shunted back and dies and sacrifices himself for the entire world?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't fucking know, man. All I know is that when they tell his backstory, he's wearing his old costume with like just the t-shirt and what have you.
There's no red uniform.
Thank Christ. And they're doing a good job of at least making this fit. They did something similar to what they did with the Titans, like how like they didn't remember Wally and then all of a sudden they did. They seem to have gone on all these adventures as Young Justice and didn't know about it until they all got back in one room together. Okay. And what the art that they painted certainly looks like them pre-52. So what the hell?
I enjoyed the New 52 for what it was.
Yeah.
It seems to me that now that we're this far into not having it, that they've just created a conundrum for themselves in terms of like timelines.
Yes.
There was already a conundrum because Batman and Superman kept all their history, and everyone else, and Green Lanterns kept their history. Everyone else started from like zero.
How about the conundrum that no other series...
Batman had 3 Robins within 5 years, basically, right? That's what that was?
The conundrum that no other series seemed to have even, like, touched on the fact that history was rewritten when the 2 Supermans merged and their stories became intertwined. Like, everything was rewritten at that point, and nobody even bothered, because that's the way DC works. They don't even bother with continuity anymore. They're just like, you want to tell a story? Like, all right. Hey, Grant Morrison, want to go tell a Hal Jordan Green Lantern story? Like, okay, go ahead. You don't care about continuity and want to do your own thing? Whatever.
Don't care about all the colors of the rainbow? Fuck you off. Okay,
yeah,
fine.
they do. It's fine, and that's actually not bad. No joke. Like
I read 3 issues and I jumped off.
Yeah,
I was like, this is not for me.
I like the first 2 that I read. I'll read the rest at some point.
I mean, the Liam Sharp art was meh.
And I also read the Millennium leading up to Crisis on Infinite Earth. The Legion of Superheroes. Legion of Superheroes, and it doesn't focus on the character I thought it would. Focuses on Rose and Thorn.
Okay.
Rose and Thorn. Something happens while she's Thorn, and she winds up becoming basically like immortal Vandal Savage style. And you see her like going through
Does
the
she
different.
live until 1,001 years in the future, kind of thing?
She's still alive as of Legion time,
Okay.
And she hasn't really aged. So I think they're trying to figure that out in Legion of Superheroes. But anyway, that's how you see like the different portions of future is through her eyes because she's been living through it all. Like they even do like Commandy and they do Booster Gold and they do all these other things until eventually we wind up at the Legion. So it's interesting enough. Bendis is trying his best to Bendisize the DC universe, and I ain't mad.
I thought the weird part about the Bendis Superman arc, they're like, we're gonna start this great Saya. Oh, what the fuck is that? It's a portal, and there's all these other aliens coming through from the future.
From the future.
We're here today to witness Unity Day, where this happens. I'd be like, fuck you. Why do we need to unify? Just because you say so? Pew 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 pew. Like. That was the dumbest, like, I know that the Legion does that, like, oh, we're going to go watch Superman become Superboy. And,
right.
Oh, oops, we interfered with time.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense how.
Well,
that should fuck their shit up.
It really should. My favorite thing, though, is that they didn't even wait for, like, 12 issues for suddenly Damian to be in the future. So now Damian and Jonathan are both in the Legion of Superheroes. I don't know how long he's sticking around, but he's at least in for.
You know
for
what
issue.
would be the ballsiest thing is to make Batman and Superman's sons gay lovers.
That would be ballsy. I don't think it's going to happen.
Oh, shucks.
But you never know.
You never know.
Hey, you can do whatever the hell you want these days, man.
Okay, confession time.
Yes.
Have you been reading Dragonfly Man?
You mean the new one that
Yes.
just started up? I have not read it yet.
Me either.
No, I have not. I read the Free Comic Book Day issue when it came out, but I have not read the most recent. No.
Okay.
That's the one that Jamal's not doing the art on.
Yes, which is why I wasn't on my radar, honestly.
I
love the series. I really liked the, what was it called?
It's also basically telling more of the side stories like that were like in between the main story.
I can't figure out if it's
arc.
side story or if it's continuation.
Side story. Yeah, it's definitely side story.
Because his story was really good. I really enjoyed it.
This is all pre-swap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why it's called Dragonfly and Dragonfly Man. It's their own stories happening in their own universes and what have you.
Another Earth, I think is what the series was called.
I
right?
believe so, yes. Yeah. But yeah, I'll read it eventually. It's just there's so much I have not been reading.
Oh, dude, so much I haven't read.
Plus, there's other stuff that I have to be reading, like homework and what have you. Like I'm going back and I'm going to be reading Darwin Cook's New Frontier for the first time in years.
Oh, that's good. Oh, you mean CGS homework?
Yes, CGS homework.
CGS homework.
Comic Geek speak. Oh God. No, we're doing a book in a month on New Frontier, so I'm going to read that for the first time.
New Frontier is so good.
Oh, it's amazing. It so holds up, especially in the artwork. I have the Absolute.
Okay.
And it is so gorgeous in giant form like that, man. Like,
I just have the 2 trades where it was like issue 1 through 3 and 4, 5, 6.
I gotta finish 2 also. Sorry, I'm peeping at your iPad there.
So my homework. I bought all of Before Watchmen when last it was on sale.
You poor thing.
It's like,
why would you do that to yourself?
I mean, there's a Watchmen craze going on. We got
I
the
know.
show and Doomsday Clock.
Yeah,
and,
the Darwin Cook stuff. What did he do? The Minutemen series, I think.
Yes.
That's from what I remember the only one that was actually good.
There's J.G. Jones and Lee Bermejo on Comedian and Rorschach.
Yeah.
J.G. Jones, this hasn't been done any art recently at all.
That is true, but
I think he's
mean
been
the
sick. I follow him on Instagram. He said something about being sick.
I think he is
had
dealing
a
with
big
something.
illness or something.
Yeah.
But he's doing some like Tolkien art on the side, which
cool.
looks really good.
That's nice.
Amanda Connor.
Oy.
Oy. Jay Lee.
Well, no, I'm just more oy that like good talent like this wasted themselves on a before Watchmen series.
They got paid.
They did.
They got paid.
I hope they got paid.
I hope they got paid. Annihilation. I have not ever read that event.
Oh, that's excellent. You'll like that.
The time where they collected it into 2 volumes, complete collections.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Abden and Lanning did an amazing job on that back in the day.
I've read this X-Men stuff.
One thing that I did read, by the way, is something that I guess you could say is comic adjacent, just for the people that are in it. I watched Knives Out, the new Rian Johnson movie with.
Did he redeem himself as a director after the abortion known as Last Jedi?
You mean the amazing movie that I love? Yes. Knives Out is excellent. He didn't ruin anyone's childhood with this.
Well, yeah. Did he write it himself?
I'm not sure if he wrote this one himself, actually, but he definitely worked on it, intensively. But it's a great cast. I mean,
I couldn't tell whether Knives Out or Ready or Not were the same movie.
They are not.
Because they look like the same movie. Here's a family. Yeah. Here's a murder plot. Here's a new person into the family.
Knives Out is sort of like a more serious version of Clue. That's the way that I would put it. Very much in the setup as well. It's a murder mystery. The head of the family gets killed, and Daniel Craig's character of Benoit Blanc comes in.
I saw this movie on Netflix.
No, you didn't.
Adam Sandler.
No, you did not.
Jennifer Aniston. It's called Murder Mystery.
No,
it happens on a boat.
This is not that. This is not that. It does not happen on a boat.
I watched that movie.
Happens in a house.
It was fun.
Happens in a house. Chris Evans is in this one, not Adam Sandler. Might be playing similar characters. Perhaps it's a remake. I don't know. But no, it's great. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. Don Johnson. We're in the middle of a Johnson sauce. Johnson
sauce.
Yeah, Johnson sauce. Rian Johnson did also write it, by the way. So yes, he did write and direct this, and it's doing well in the box office from what I saw too. But I saw A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood just the other day, and they just need to hand Tom Hanks the fucking Oscar. Just give it to him.
That good, huh?
Can you say Oscar bait? Yep, I knew you could. And I'm trying to think of, other than Watchmen, which I don't really want to talk about right now.
Oh, I watched Terminator Dark Fate. Did you see that?
I did not. What'd you think?
I haven't talked to it with anybody. I know Jim saw it. Yeah, all over the place.
Yeah.
He really liked it.
Yeah.
I saw it and thought it was just okay. Basically, and I haven't talked to Ziggo about it. I've had a little Facebook thing on one comment on one of his posts.
Yeah.
So I don't know what his full take is. You'll have to ask him.
Yeah.
Or watch his Comic Tube show if he did.
He said he liked parts of it. He didn't like others.
So basically, it's kind of a fuck you to Terminator fans in the first 10 minutes.
That's a great way to get people to get back in. You know?
Absolutely.
You know, just like Brianne Johnson and that big fuck you with that movie that I absolutely loved, which I did love. I'm not even being sarcastic. The Last Jedi.
If you did love John Connor and his whole thing, there's a big fuck you to you.
So he's no longer the savior.
More than that.
All right.
Then it just so happens. So it takes basically they're like T1 and T2 happened. Anything else, throw it away.
Gee, where have I heard this before? That's so weird. I feel like there was a Superman movie. Yeah,
Superman Returns.
Yeah, something like that. And there was something else.
That didn't turn out so well either.
No. There was something else too, where other movies didn't happen.
Terminator's problem as a franchise, my main conceit with it is that it's now turned into one movie.
Okay.
They can only make one movie. There's a machine from the future that you have to run from. It's called a Terminator.
Wow, that sounds like a Terminator movie.
That is every Terminator movie now until the end of time. And if they're only going to do that story, then I have a problem because I do not want to see that story 8 million times.
Sure.
Terminator, same that movie. Terminator 2, same movie.
Right.
Twist.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a good one, right?
You know, Terminator 3 may not have been a good movie.
Terminator 3.
But I like the ending.
Same movie as 2, basically.
Yes, but the ending...
Added Claire Danes.
Yes.
Ending was good. It showed you Judgment Day was inevitable.
Exactly. Nobody expected Judgment Day to happen in that movie. Then it never even bothered to follow it up.
So, this movie, Dark Fate...
Yeah.
Basically takes that same conceit of Judgment Day is inevitable in that Judgment Day never happens. Cyberdyne never happens.
Okay.
Skynet never happens.
Okay.
Instead, after they save the world in T2, essentially, she yells, 3 billion lives I saved. How many have you saved? And it's like, population now is 6 billion, bitch, like, or 7. Haven't you seen India lately? I don't know.
Okay.
Basically, it's like the dark fate is that the machines will always rise up and get a different name.
Yeah.
So, okay, can they at least be called... Somehow they're still called Terminators.
They're called Schmerminators.
You know what Skynet is called now?
What?
This is the laziest name you could ever think of.
Hold on, wait. Let me guess. Landweb.
Nope.
Just
think of a generic sci-fi evil name. The most generic name you can think of.
Microsoft.
That has to do with multiple entities.
Apple.
No, more generic.
Netflix.
More generic.
I had to give up. What?
Legion. They went from something cool from Skynet
the fuck?
And Cyberdyne to it being called Legion.
Why?
Legion is coming.
I mean, yeah, it's back. Bendis writes it. It's great.
It's fucking... Yeah. So, A, it's a fucking dumb name.
Okay.
Generic name. But B, it's the same fucking thing, but somehow they don't explain how, like, the Terminators look exactly the same. It's the same fucking design. Yeah. Like, that's not explained at all. But basically, the dark fate is the machines will always rise up and kill humanity.
Okay.
So, every Terminator movie is now T2. Over and over and over again.
Turns out the problem was you.
Yeah. So... T2, twist on T1. T3, same as T2.
Oh.
Salvation, something different.
Yeah.
Something different.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yeah, I know.
He yelled at the guy. That was the big deal, right? The recording.
Good for you.
Yelling at the sound guy.
Yeah.
That was the big deal, but it was something different. We went into the future. We could have done that, y'all. No. Terminator fans, for whatever reason, didn't like that shit.
No.
It's all focused on John Connor.
It's only a so-so
and the guy from Avatar.
Yeah. That's why they didn't like it. The guy from Avatar.
I thought it was fine.
It was all right. I
think they really liked it because McGee actually directed another decent movie after Charlie's Angels 1 and 2.
Listen, when I go to McDonald's, I like to order a McG, okay? I don't know about you.
So, and then you have Terminator Genesis. Did you see that one?
I did not see Terminator Genesis. I did not see Khaleesi Genesis.
Khaleesi Genesis was Terminator 1 and 2 remixed.
Yeah.
Because a Terminator came earlier than the first one. Then Kyle Reese shows up and says, we got to save you. This is what's happening. Here's what happens in movies T1 and T2.
By the way, we're going to
And then she's the one that says, come with me if you want to live, to Kyle Reese. So that was like T1 and T2 remixed. So this is it again, T2 remixed.
And this last one happened, what, 3 years ago?
Yes.
And now they're already rebooting everything and ignoring that.
But I distinctly remember, I feel like they made a big deal about Dark Fate being James Cameron produced or whatever. Like, the guy doesn't have fucking time to direct a movie. Where's the Avatar sequels? I don't know.
He's
Apparently
working on
they're
them.
still shooting.
Yeah.
Okay, those would be good movies because they've made 10 years to make them.
Tim Mitchell has already said he will not work on another franchise again in his life because that combined with Ryan Reynolds and him fighting on Deadpool and now him and James Cameron fighting on Terminator.
Which, to Ryan Reynolds' credit, Deadpool 2, another good movie, more of the same.
That's true.
I think in that case, if they wanted to make a more action-y Deadpool versus comedy, they went in the right direction with comedy.
Christmas version they didn't need, but whatever, you know.
So, where the fuck was I? So they promoted Dark Fate as the first Jim Cameron produced Terminator movie, but I distinctly remember him doing press for Genesis. So it's like, oh yeah, wipe this other shit away that never existed.
Right.
It's like, no, guys, this was only 3 years ago. Khaleesi's hot shit now, you know? Game of Thrones.
Yep. I don't know, whatever. So, did they explain why Arnold is suddenly old?
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Okay, this is a spoiler for the first 10 minutes of the movie. This is the big fuck you to fans.
Okay.
So basically, the thing that everybody thought of, like, in Terminator 1 and 2 is like, well, you sent one machine back. Why didn't you send more back? So T1 happens, T2 happens. They save the world. Hoorah, hoorah.
Right.
Turns out, surprise, surprise, we sent more than one Terminator back in the T2 timeline. Except they're not liquidy, they're Arnold's. So they're in Mexico or Guadalajara, wherever the fuck they're at. enjoying a beer on the beach.
Uh-huh.
CGI'd Sarah Connor looking young is on the beach.
Yeah.
CGI'd John Connor. Edward Furlong, I don't know if he did motion capture. Probably didn't.
Uh-huh.
They got some lookalike kid and then CG'd him to look like Edward Furlong. Looks pretty terrible.
Okay.
Because you're like, what's this rubbery Edward Furlong doing? He's trying to flirt with a girl at this bar in Mexico or wherever they're at.
Yeah.
Then young Arnold walks up, pulls out a shotgun, shoots young 11-year-old John Connor in the back. Boom, kills him. First 10 minutes of T2.
What?
So everything you knew now no longer matters because, yeah, he stopped everything, but he's also not around to start the resistance later on.
Oh my god.
Cyberdyne no longer exists. Skynet no longer exists because they blew him up in T2. But also, he's no longer the leader of the resistance because we went and killed him.
So what the fuck with Kyle Reese then?
So this same term... So Sarah's screaming, ah! Ah! This same Terminator turns around and disappears.
Okay.
So...
Oh no.
This Terminator is the old Arnold you see in Dark Fate. This Terminator somehow magically learned and is trying to be human and is taking care of this woman and her son for like 17 years and learned to appreciate emotion, not have it.
But wait, it was a special breed of Terminator that actually ages?
No, this is still a T-800 Model 101, whatever the fuck.
Well, then why does it look
that
old?
Arnold is.
Why does it look old?
Because the skin ages, the inside does not.
Bullshit.
Remember, because the whole conceit about those things is that they had real human skin on them.
Yeah, right, okay.
Like real human tissue.
Uh-huh.
So that's why he looks old, but this is the same machine that killed John. And he's... this is the weird part.
Yeah.
This machine that killed John
Yeah.
learns to become sympathetic, and then once text messaging starts in the universe, starts sending Sarah coordinates to go and find other Terminators who are showing up in the world to go kill them.
Okay.
So Sarah Connor turns into this badass because she gets these coordinates with a message for John. For John.
Also,
so every time she goes there, she finds another Terminator. Somehow, never explained, able to kill these killing machines really easily. But then just this one in this movie, she can't kill it.
Also, occasionally, the Terminator texts her, "Hey girl, you up?"
Not even that. But it was like, so, if Cyberdyne never happened, what Terminators were you killing in these last 25 years?
And again, how does Kyle Reese go back in time to impregnate... Whatever, man. Fuck this shit.
It's Dark Fate.
I blame Back to the Future. I blame Back to the Future for all of this. If not for them, we wouldn't have bullshit like this.
Back to the Future rules don't apply. Didn't you see Endgame? That's not how it works. Which doesn't even still make sense.
I know, but I did rewatch Endgame the other day, and it holds up.
It does.
I enjoy it.
I finally watched it a second time.
Yes.
A couple weeks ago.
Yes. After you saying that you had no interest in rewatching it, I'm glad that you did. That you actually broke your rule.
I have a 4K Blu-ray. I want to watch it on my nice TV.
I still haven't watched the deleted scene because the only version of the deleted scene they have on Disney Plus is with commentary, and I just want to watch.
I haven't even watched any of those.
Well, there's a deleted scene with Tony and his adult daughter. Like, he's supposed to be like in like the afterlife or whatever, and he gets to actually meet her. That's why they filmed a scene with some other actress that
the
never.
Girl from 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah, exactly. The 13 Reasons Why girl that never actually made it in a movie. That's what that was. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another hot thing that's been going on.
Hot take.
I want 2 more topics and we'll wrap up.
Hot beef. Okay.
The Snyder Cut. Where are you at on it?
Release the Snyder Cut.
So, recently there was an uptick in the Release the Snyder Cut campaign.
Yes.
Because it was 314 or however long the original Snyder Cut's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And they were trying to get to 200 or 314,000 tweets about it because that was the length of the cut, apparently.
Or your pizza's free. Yeah.
And they got Gal Gadot to tweet about it.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder then retweeted her, which is like his first... I feel like that was his first public thing of like, oh yeah, they should release my fucking movie.
Yeah.
Which, by some accounts, was pretty much done. Other accounts, the naysayers, say, no way it was fucking done. Then Ben Affleck comes out, whose cachet has kind of gone down a little bit.
What do you mean?
Release the Snyder Cut.
No one even noticed he came out with a Netflix movie. Like, it just sort of just went away. Like,
that's what I'm saying, his cachet.
Yeah, I know.
Triple Frontier is a good movie. You should watch it.
I will give it a shot.
Well done.
I actually just watched The Most Violent Year last night. The
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac, yeah. Yeah, that was pretty good.
It Chapter 2, also a good movie.
Have not seen it Chapter 2 yet. I'm waiting for it to come on HBO. Once it is, I will be there.
It's good.
All right, cool. And then Jason Momoa and his tasty mimosas.
Yeah, I mean, we already Momoa. Yeah. He said, "Oh, I've seen it. It's good." Yeah.
He's never seen it. He has not seen it.
I don't know.
None of these people have. Okay, all right.
So they have basically releasing concept art, and I don't know if some of these people are mistaking the concept art for actual film stills.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear to me that it's concept art.
Yeah.
But there are some film stills that are out there that Snyder is releasing himself.
Right, and there's also like the full fucking trailer full of a whole bunch of shit that we never actually got. Yeah.
Right. So apparently, Jim was asking me about this, so I was sending him some information I had read on Screen Rant or whatever. And Screen Rant's kind of a clickbaity site, but they're not like all out wrong. Like, no, what's it? The site that's
We Got Discovered.
Yes, that. Yeah. So they're basically saying like Joss Whedon reshot somewhere around like 80 minutes of Justice League.
Yeah.
And 80 minutes of that 2-hour movie is all Joss Whedon's or something like that.
Yeah, no, it was definitely more than they ever actually came out and said. Like, you can tell that just by watching the damn thing. Like, you know.
So basically, like, the point I was making to Jim was, like, we've never really seen Zack Snyder's anything in this movie because most of what we saw is probably Joss Whedon stuff. Like, yeah. I'm willing to bet all that plot is Joss Whedon's.
Probably.
And that he kept the action scenes that were already shot, dialogue-less, and put those inserts in, like Aquaman going, woohoo, riding on the Batmobile or whatever.
Yeah. My man.
That is my assumption, is that's what we got.
And he also used a Henry Cavill that doesn't know how to shave. That too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Yeah. I do not want the Snyder Cut.
No.
At this point.
You don't want to see how bad it is?
I do not know. You want to know why? Because fans deserve to suffer. That's why, okay? When you will not stop fucking talking about something to the point
we
where...
we got the recut of Superman 2 from Dick Donner.
So 20 years from now, I would like a Snyder Cut. I would like a Snyder Cut with a side of fries and maybe some chili. Okay? I will not accept a Snyder Cut at this point because...
In what world that Apocalypse Now gets to recut it every 3 years, or Blade Runner gets a new cut every 6 years, do we not just get the Snyder Cut?
Because these were good movies!
We don't... Here's the lingering question. We don't know...
Yes, we do.
A good movie. We
saw Batman v Superman. Okay, both of us don't like that movie.
Yes.
Okay, you may have liked Man of Steel, and I may have thought it was a travesty. But at least
you didn't think it's travesty.
First 30 minutes good, rest of it pile of trash. Yeah, go back and listen to it. That's exactly what I said, because I've listened to it multiple times. This is one of my favorite episodes. Okay.
I love that you re-listen to our old episode. But you still won't record with us on a regular basis thanks to CGS.
No. I listened to it maybe like 6 months ago, 7 months ago, just on a train. But... Yeah.
This train is so long. I'm going to listen to our 3.5 hour Man of Steel episode.
No joke, though. I think it was a train to Philadelphia, if I remember correctly. So... I think 20 years from now, when nobody cares, is when you should release this thing. Because
why though?
No, hear me out.
They will do much bigger business now when people care.
But
for a money standpoint,
here's why you don't do it. Because DC's still coming out with movies on the regular right now. Okay, Wonder Woman 2 is coming out soon. You know,
we're supposed to get a trailer soon.
We're supposed to be getting one very soon. They're working on Aquaman 2.
I'm not hopeful for that cheetah. For Kristen Wiig.
Yeah,
no
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. It could turn out all right.
I bet she's just wearing a cheetah vest.
Maybe. Or maybe she likes Cheetos. Maybe her name is Chester. We don't know. But I think that when you're still coming out with as many movies as you are, that are still building your world in one way or another, even if they're not connected, you're going to confuse the marketplace by coming out with Justice League, the Snyder Cut. You know, and you see something entirely different like this because the regular viewing public, the reason why they were able to accept the fucking Donner Cut is it came out of a goddamn Superman box set originally. Like, for people who are already buying this shit and we're looking for a piece of like Treasury Edition, that's what you need this to be. You need this to be a Treasury Edition and not released in theaters, the Snyder Cut.
I don't want it in theaters.
Or released on Blu-ray or 4K, the Snyder Cut. And that's what they're going to fucking call it, too. They're not even going to call it Justice League. They're just going to call it the Snyder Cut. That's it. Because that's release the Snyder Cut.
JL Snyder Cut.
I don't think there's enough of a movie there to actually do anything with it. I think we're being fooled as a public by people who are tweeting about this shit. And frankly, Warner Brothers has no reason to release it. It didn't make any fucking money. They're not going to put all this budget into a new version of a movie that didn't work the first time. So, no, I do not want to see a Snyder Cut. Give me 20 years, and maybe I'll want to see it. Not right now. You? You want to fucking see it?
I want to see it.
You want to see it?
Here,
all right.
Later, now, whenever. I'll see it.
All right. Okay.
I'll buy it.
All right.
Even. I will buy it.
All right. Fine then. I changed my mind. Let's go. Let's see the damn thing. I just whatever will make people stop.
Curious.
Whatever will make people stop talking about the goddamn Snyder Cut.
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm tired of reading all the half stories or the little tidbits.
Yeah.
Like I just either somebody should release the full script online,
right,
and let us read it or read a summary of it or something like that, or just release the cut.
Right.
But these little tidbits here and there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I can't stand. Like,
yeah,
Justice League Mortal, I don't want to see because they didn't shoot anything. Number one.
No, they did not.
But it also looked fucking terrible. Those costume designs looked awful.
Hey, it's the guy who did Fury Road.
Okay, but the Batman costume design was awful.
I agree. It still wasn't like Bat Nipples bad.
No, but it was. Oh, I don't know. It was Mech Batman bad.
Mech Batman bad.
This.
All right.
I just want to see.
Okay. What was the second topic that you wanted to address?
All right. So there apparently comics Twitter's been aflame.
Fucking Snyder Cut.
Thanks to
piracy.
This topic of comics piracy.
Okay. Yeah.
And yes, piracy is bad.
Yeah.
Piracy happens.
Yeah.
It especially happens because Marvel and DC aren't big enough companies to do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
The way that people are on YouTube and have YouTube flag music or movies or whatever when you try to pirate a movie and throw it up on YouTube.
Right.
Or it's also such a small thing that like it's the music piracy's become accepted now.
Sure.
In such a way that everybody's transitioned into these like pay for or streaming platforms where you pay $10 a month.
And very few people pirate music anymore. Like that's not a thing that happens anymore because Spotify's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you're seeing the overall marketplace for media like push in a certain direction, and people assume that comics work the same way or are trying to go the same way.
Yeah.
When in fact you have these two smaller divisions of much larger companies that do not operate in that same way and have not figured out a way to play together to make that reality happen. And until they do, I don't think that you're going to see a downturn in piracy.
Yeah.
And because it's incredibly easy just to scan something and throw it online.
Right.
Or even take the digital file if you're I don't know how they do the Marvel DC ones, but if you download it on an iPad Pro, which I just have an Air 2, an old one from 2014, it's still enough resolution to just buy everything, one guy to buy everything on Comixology, and then screen capture every page of everything he buys.
Which is usually how they do it. I'm pretty sure, because they either do that or they have some sort of capture program or script that they have where they capture the pages one way or the other. The way that I am with a lot of this is these pirate sites, especially like readcomics.to or something like that, like they don't even bother. Well, they don't. Not that they bother. Nowhere on their site does it say that that they're a pirate site. They just say, "Here's a place where you can read comics." And there are plenty of people out there who think that this is legitimate websites that are putting up their stuff for free, especially when there's items on these websites that are not on Comixology. I know this because there have been times. I will fully admit this. I've said it before on the podcast once or twice, and I've said it in other places where
we've all used
I've had to go on there to read an issue because there was no other place for me to find it. Captain Marvel from the 90s, the Genus Vell series before Peter David, is not on Comixology.
The green and black outfit?
No, not even that one. Back when he was still right after Legacy.
Negabands?
Yeah, Negaban before that, before the Peter David stuff.
Okay.
When he had just gotten the Negabands and Nicieza was writing it, in the mid '90s. It was a terrible series, but I wanted to read it for another show, and I did it. And I couldn't find it on Comixology. It wasn't there. I went on this website, and there it was. There's Richard Dragon. You know, Richard Dragon, the big martial arts DC character that they really haven't done much with since the Dixon run back in the 2000s. Yeah. But his first appearance, not on Comixology, not on DC Universe, but it's there in this stupid app. When you see things like that, you think to yourself, oh, well, clearly, you know, this must be legit because they have stuff that you can't find anywhere else. When in reality, it's just people scanning in their frickin' comics and releasing it here for free. And I was on, when I was on the Back to the Bins podcast, I had to let somebody know that, yeah, it's a pirate site. Like, I went to read it there because, you know, I can't imagine that this site would exist. You know, like, by now, DC would have taken them down. It's based in Tonga.
Yeah.
You know,
else.
It's based in Tonga, where they have, you know, low enough piracy claims where they're able to get away with this shit. But they're out on there. And you see that some of these issues have, like, 90,000 reads, like new stuff, image stuff, 90,000 reads, like 100,000 reads. And you go and see how many people bought it on Comixology, and it's like 6,000. Mm-hmm. And these stuff get canceled. Crowded, one of my favorite image books out right now, is having this problem. That's why it got brought up in the first place. Yeah. One of the creators on it tweeted, like, yeah, no, is there any way to take my stuff off of this pirated site? Because I see that over 70,000 people have read this, and I have 7,000 buys on Comixology. What the fuck am I supposed to do? The answer is there's very little you can do because piracy exists. The only thing you can do is lower the premium. You know, lower how much it takes for you to buy the issues in the first place.
I think that is a great point. I was going to bring it up. It's like, not talking about the availability of comics, because I think my presumption is they're readily available in the United States and maybe the UK.
Sure. Outside
of that, it seems like Europe does these weird collection things or whatever, and if you're into comics elsewhere, I don't know how the fuck you get them, to be honest.
Japan will do like their phone book size things like they do their manga.
So you're not getting them week to week, month to month, at least, whatever.
Sure.
So you know, the outside world, how do they get it? I don't know. Maybe they can get in Comixology. I know I accessed it when I was in France in 2011, and I got my issues week to week and big sales and stuff, no problem.
Yeah.
Because I had a U.S. site. Maybe you have to have here's the other thing. Do you have to have like a U.S.-based credit card to buy from them? I have no idea.
I think so, because there's Comixology UK, there's Comixology FR, you know, there's all these other versions, and it's just like Amazon.
Right.
Mind you, I could buy stuff from Amazon UK with a U.S. credit card. Mm-hmm. So it's possible that you might be able to get away with that because I have made purchases from Amazon UK.
But Comixology is now owned by Amazon.
Yes.
I don't know if they've spread out their wings for all their other nationality sites outside of the main US UK one.
Well, most people use their Amazon login for Comixology. Yeah. So, you know, frankly, if you already have one, then it should be the same. But I think that...
But my main point I was trying to get to was the barrier of entry is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because comics are so expensive now.
Absolutely.
We're now in the everything is $3.99 era. I buy so little week to week from what I did in college.
There were $5.99 issues. There were fucking $5.99 issues.
This Absolute Carnage series was $5.99, but the writing and art was so much fun that I was considering worth it.
Right.
These Tales of the Multiverse issues we talked about early in the episode, I think are $4.99 or $5.99.
Right.
But it's 50 pages. Okay, I'll pay. You know, I'll pay that price. That's fine. But I do think they are prohibitively expensive if you have this big giant fucking Absolute Carnage crossover event, because that Marvel always does these giant events where everything is ancillary and you don't need to read it, but we're going to market it like you need to.
Right.
Or, you know, throw it in one page of the thing. Scream shows up with a bunch of people in Absolute Carnage number 5, and you're like, what the fuck's going on? Well, apparently it's read Scream 1 through 3 to find out what's going on. It's like, so it is very expensive to be a comics fan.
Sure.
It's not something you can do on a regular basis.
Yeah, which is why
with a mediocre or, you know, median or below the means income, for sure.
Which is why the way that I read my comics, for the most part, outside of waiting the 6 months for Marvel Unlimited or waiting the 12 months for DC Universe, is I'll go on to Reddit.
That's absurd. 12 months.
I know, that's stupid.
Absurd.
It's stupid. I really hope they change it to at least 6 sometime soon, but whatever. I'm far enough behind where I don't give a shit. And frankly, I'm reading off of your account half the time anyway. Yeah, no problem. But big ups. But
is that piracy?
Technically, well, it's not piracy, but it's not.
I view it as like, this is my lending library. Because if you lived in town,
right,
I would be loaning you this shit the same way I am Jim his trades.
Is sharing your Netflix password piracy? Because that's basically the same thing.
I don't share my Netflix password.
But
I share my Vudu stuff.
Well, then that's part of it.
But I've bought everything on Vudu.
Right, but you're sharing your Vudu password with other people, or you're sharing it with yourself?
With my parents.
Oh, if they're logged in and they're watching it, then yeah, technically that's shady. You know,
shady.
Yeah, but
I've bought it. I bought everything on it.
I log in.
I own it.
Right.
Not really.
Yeah. No. You.
That's the nebulous part. You don't really own these.
Right. You have your login, and you're the one who paid for it in the first place. So when you share it with someone else, technically they don't. It's not. It's not below the law, but it's also not above it. Right. It's like smack dab in the middle. You know, I'm logged into all my mom's cable accounts on my Roku, so I can watch, you know, Comedy Central or Cartoon Network or what have you. I'm not paying for the cable. She is, but I'm logged in, so I'm using her HBO
your mom's
Go.
Not using those logins,
right? Well, she is on the Roku that I set up for her.
Ah, right.
But that's just it. You know, I'm piggybacking off of it. It's in between. Straight up piracy is below the law. Like, you are not. That is not a good idea. Sharing passwords and shit like that, it ain't cool, but it's also not illegal. The way that I buy my stuff a lot of the times is off of Reddit on the R comic codes, where for $1 I'll buy a Marvel Comics code.
Are they still doing those?
They're still doing it. Marvel is. DC's not doing it nearly as much, but Marvel's doing it with everything still, pretty much. And I'll buy off of there if I don't want to wait. Because, you know, if you haven't bought it and I don't want to wait the 6 months, I'll go ahead and buy it off of there for $1. You know, that's how I've been reading Hickman's X-Men, as I've been waiting for the show up there, or David D, you know, longtime friend of the show who's been on the show for the 52 episodes back in the day, has been buying them.
He didn't show up in my list.
It's because he's only been on twice.
Not tagged.
David D. Costanza, I think, or something like that, or whatever.
Maybe I stopped before I got to him.
Yeah, but he, you know, he's been buying them physically and giving me the digital codes because he's not using them. So there we go. I got that. I'd much rather do shit like that, or wait for a sale on Comixology, which I do all the frickin' time, because then I'm buying them for 99 cents, or I'm buying a collection for $4, and it makes more sense to me. I'm not ever going to pay full price for a digital issue when it's $5 digitally, and I know in 3 months it's going to be $2.
Yes.
It's not going to happen.
And that is the thing I think they can see. Some of the trades are discounted digitally from the regular price. Like the full price trade will be $16.95.
Right.
And maybe you're going to get the hardcover edition for $25.99 or whatever. So they are knocking $10 off of it.
Right.
But in general, it's still too expensive digitally to buy these books. But I think we're in a conundrum, because there's an app. Seems like if there are truly these many reads of it, there is an appetite for it. But someone brought out a good point. I think I read this on Bleeding Cool. Some of those hits, those 90,000, could be just web bots crawling it and making sure your links still work.
It's possible.
Boom, boom, boom,
it's
boom,
possible.
boom, boom.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not 90, maybe it's 45.
I want to go ahead and show you right now that the quote unquote Comixology sale for House of X issue number 1 is it's a buy one get one right now.
Yeah.
It's not on sale. It's not on sale for the most part.
Yeah.
Because of your Comixology, it's an extra 10% off for $4.79.
Right.
For one issue.
Right.
$4.79. Even with the buy one get one.
It's still a $5.99 issue.
Yeah, it's still a $5.99 issue. Like, buy one get one, sure, okay, great. You paid $4.79 for 2 issues. That's still nearly $3 an issue. It's stupid, man. All things considered, it's stupid. I wanted to open this just to see what Crowded was going for on Comixology right now, for comparison's sake. You could buy right now. You can buy Volume 1 of Crowded. It's part of the big sale that Image is having right now for $4.49. $4.49 digitally.
There's probably 5 or 6.
There's at least 5 issues in it. But the thing is, regular issues go for $3.99. So one volume for $5 or one issue for $4. That's bad.
And I've done that with some of the Image stuff. Like, I read a lot of Birthright. I read on Comixology Unlimited. Like, the first 4 trades were on there.
Yeah.
And then I went and looked at the local library, and I found 4, 5, and 6 in trade. So I got them from there. So I read the first 50 issues or whatever the hell for free.
You bring up an excellent point. Local libraries.
And then only now, since issue, I don't know, 36 or something, have I been buying it digitally because I feel it's that good and I want to support that book.
And that
But that's still a majority of the series. I need to either go back and buy, or I will never go back and buy because I may not ever read it again.
If you want to get something for free, go to your frickin' local library. Do that, please. And I know that not every library system is great. You know, like, not everyone is going to be good enough to have, like, a large selection of comics or what have you. But yours clearly has stuff. You know, mine in New York or Brooklyn, like, there's a branch of New York Public Library literally down the block from where I live in the Bronx.
I was as surprised the last time I went in was for those issues, like, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I was really surprised that they had as much newer stuff as, like, newer versions of trades and everything as they did. I was expecting to see the stuff I saw years ago.
And you want to know who you can thank?
That stuff's been recycled out.
Yeah, you want to know who I could thank? You can thank nerdy librarians. No joke, nerdy librarians, because they're the ones who are looking at the comics community, and they're also looking for requests. Because if you go onto a library's website and you're like, oh, you guys don't have this, they're going to see how many other people have looked for this, and is it worth buying, and they're going to go ahead and buy a copy, and it'll be in their system. That's it. So please, if you want to read something for free, go to your frickin' local library and do it that way. You might have to wait a little bit, but whatever. And there's at least 2 or 3 digital lending libraries. Hoopla. We don't have Hoopla in New York. I'm really disappointed in that because they had a whole bunch of digital comics for free.
We have it, but it's a bunch of hoops to jump through, and I didn't complete them all.
It's a bunch of hoops for Hoopla?
And I have enough stuff on Comixology that I need to read that I've bought for $2.99, $3.99 trades. That I can wait.
That's fair. But either way, that is the way to do it. Do not pirate, even if your 2 hosts have on occasion. That's, you know. I mean, look, yeah, it fucking sucks, but I do my best not to because, frankly, I don't want to be one of those assholes who is one of the reasons why the comics community is dying. You know, I want to buy stuff whenever possible.
But it is dying, and even you saw music and movies go the streaming route with the big collections and independent companies.
DC Universe,
Video
Marvel
games
Unlimited
are going that way too.
That's true.
Xbox Game Pass is a gangbuster thing for them.
Stadia.
They may be second in the race.
Yeah.
But Game Pass, it seems like even now they're trying to push their existing users because Xbox Live Gold used to be a good thing. They would give you some good games month to month.
Yeah.
The last 3 months, these games have absolutely sucked compared to what is on Game Pass. It is clear they're trying to transition everybody from Gold who's not on Game Pass to go to Game Pass just for the quality games.
Yeah, and Google Stadia just got introduced. You've got PlayStation Plus and their shit. I mean, mind you, Switch is nothing right now because it's just SNES and NES, but the games they have are cool.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about rebuying them in the frickin' virtual console or what have you. But I get my Tetris 99.
But still, fuck you if you already bought them in the virtual console
That
last
is true.
generation.
That is true. But hey, Tetris 99. I'm okay as long as I have Tetris 99. That shit is stupid and I fucking love it. It's so much fun.
So, I guess my main point is...
Yeah.
Is comics too slow? Yes.
Yes.
I think the question really is, are they too small to get together to create a streaming giant? I mean, you have Comixology. Comixology kind of does it now with Unlimited.
It's as close as you're going to get.
It's a limited selection.
Yeah.
But
it's called Unlimited. What are you talking about? It's like comics.
Yes.
You're saying it should be called Comics Limited?
There are some shady shit. So they have the first volume of Wicked and the Divine. There are 8 volumes on there.
Yes.
Like total of the series. Do they ever put on 2 and 3?
No.
Just the 1.
Yeah.
Brubaker has some of his stuff on there.
Yeah.
The Fade Out, all 3 volumes.
Yeah.
You can read the whole story.
Yeah.
I did. It's great. Fatale.
Yeah.
Do they have the whole thing? No. They only have 3 of the 4. Fuck you gotta buy the last one. Greg Rucka's Lazarus. I read all 5 volumes. I think there's 6 or 7 now, but at the time there were only 5. I read all 5. I was caught up. Then they took away the 5th volume.
Okay.
and it was just the 4. Fuck you by the 5th.
I really hope they only have 26 issues of 52. It's like 26 issues of 52. You have to buy the other 26.
The Marvel and DC stuff is like they'll do 1, 1, 1. It's very clear,
right?
That it's just 1, 1, 1. Walking Dead, I think, has the first 10 volumes on there, which is a whole lot of Walking Dead. If you ever want to read it,
absolutely.
But the Image stuff where they were like Thief of Thieves, they had the first 6 volumes.
Yeah,
and then they said, fuck you, but here's 5 by the 6th kind of thing. Now there's a 7th apparently, but. Like, so if you're quick on them, you just borrow them all because you're allowed to borrow 50, and then you just read them as you go.
Yeah,
like
they did that with Irredeemable at one point too.
Irredeemable and the other one were both all on there. Borrowed them right away. Click borrow. If I've said this before, if they're in your borrowed box, they never go away. Yeah, because I read what was at the time all of Hickman's Atom Bomb.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
What's that called?
Manhattan Project.
Manhattan Project.
Yeah.
They had the 2 bigger volumes of that, which I think is like 4 regular 6 issues.
Yeah.
They had both of those on there on Comixology Unlimited, so basically the entire series. Borrow. Quickly after that, they went away. Yeah. Now they only have 1. Fuck you by the 2nd. So I was like, joke's on you. I still have this borrowed. I can still, even if it's not on your device, you can still download it and read it and move it back and forth because you still are borrowing it.
One of the things they have to borrow right now is the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So if you wanted to read any of that stuff,
Eastman and Laird.
Yeah, they have both the black and white and the color.
Toys That Made Us.
Yes, which is one of the reasons why I immediately wanted to read that.
And I discovered this morning there is a Movies That Made Us series on Netflix now.
What?
Dirty Dancing.
Oh,
Back to the Future.
Holy crap.
Ghostbusters.
Same guys? I assume the same guys.
I think so.
All right.
I would only watch the trailer.
Okay. Interesting. I'm going to have to check that out.
4 episodes.
I had no idea. Okay.
I was like, ooh.
All right. What are the 4? You said Dirty
Dancing's first one. Okay. Ghostbusters. Okay. I want to say Back to the Future.
Oh, I hope they do the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies eventually because I don't know. That movie has such a story to it. So many people sweating in suits.
But
yeah,
I don't know. I think the comics is gotten too expensive.
Yeah,
because sales have dropped.
Yeah,
astronomically since the 90s.
Yeah, this is now officially
inflation's gone up.
This is now officially, I think, the 94th time we've covered this in 200 episodes of Comic Timing because
it's a popular topic.
Oh, I know. It's true. I mean, we had an entire episode. I mean, you remember the one we had, comic shops versus digital?
Yes.
With Bill and Tim the Tiki on, and they were running back and forth on that shit on which one to go with and which one not. Bob and Sam might have been on that one too, honestly, if I remember correctly. I know we had them on at one point to talk digital, but I know that it's very hard, and I just got rid of all most of my single issues of comics. It's very hard as a collector to realize that what you've been collecting isn't worth anything, and that's what I reached. Although of course some of the issues that I just gave away to a family friend, he's selling them and he's getting money for them. But whatever, I didn't want to deal with that shit. But that's what we are. Comics are mostly a worthless, price-wise, collection. You either need to just buy in or you need to wait for that digital sale.
That's why I hate those issues that Tom King writes where it takes you 5 minutes to flip through. Less than 5 minutes to flip through everything.
I get it. Yeah.
Skim a poem.
So I got one more thing for you before we wrap up. Give me one thing you've learned the most as a comic fan and a podcaster since starting up with this shit. 200 plus episodes, because we're probably more like 210 with all the multiple parts and stuff like that.
I feel like the one thing I've learned as a podcaster, I mean, I've learned how to edit.
Well, yeah, because you had to.
One thing,
because I would take forever.
But comics wise, the thing I've learned is that there's still some weird level of like A tier and B tier, even however long, 2005 was the comics podcast boom, we'll call it.
Boom,
where you could get anybody on a show, and now it seems like you can't get anybody on a show unless you go through Marvel PR.
Yeah.
It seems like anytime I listen to Word Balloon, he's always talking to the PR person before doing the interview or whatever.
I remember that happening to me the first time I ever talked to Tom King. One of the reasons that I had Tom King talk about his everything other than his DC stuff is because I would have to go through DCPR, and I didn't have a contact, so that was the way it worked.
So, there's still this gateway thing to fandom from the writers and the artists, seems like, from the big two. But, and only certain podcasts get through that gateway.
Yeah.
Or they have their own thing that they're trying to do on streaming or DC Daily or Marvel Entertainment YouTube.
Right.
Which the content's too short to get anything meaningful out of that. That.
Or you're 11 o'clock comics and you've drank with enough people at a bar where you can get everybody on.
Or you're John Suntress and have already had everybody on and have all the contacts.
Yep, exactly.
And then there's the B tier where, we have people on like Jamal Igle, who's no longer working for any of the big two, therefore we don't have to deal with. Yeah. He can talk as much shit as he wants, but he doesn't because he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
But he can tell us the truths and realities of things as much as he wants, but sometimes he doesn't.
Right.
He's still on the business side of Action Lab or whatever he's doing now.
Right.
So I've learned that I was like, there is still this weird dichotomy in what is essentially 100,000 fan base. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When the top selling book can only sell 100,000, or when any book sells more than 100,000, it's something to be celebrated.
Right.
When it's that small of a fan base, that's outrageous.
Totally. Yeah.
So, they're buying multiple books or whatever, but really, if everybody's all buying the same book and there's only 100,000 of us, the fact that there is this weird dichotomy in PR levels and stuff is weird.
Totally. No, and that's it's part of it, and that's why I never really designed this show to be an interview show for one of those reasons. If people want to come on and talk comics and at the same time also talk about their book, by all means, go ahead and do so. But that's what I love about podcasting, is just doing it that way. I'm not really that much of a. So, what was it like to make your book? What'd you feel? How'd you do? What's the life? It's not something I've really done very often. A few times that I have, sometimes it turned out well, sometimes it hasn't. Roaming reporting at Comic-Con is different than having somebody on a full podcast and that sort of thing. I think more than anything else, as a comic book fan, since we started doing this show, I've learned that there's a lot more than just superheroes.
I've learned that too, but I think the thing that I've learned the most is a lot of it is sales tactics that I was not aware of before. Like I've seen all the Marvel relaunches again and again and again every 2 years. I'm wise to them, and I'm less involved in them and less excited about them.
Yeah, no, that's
and Marvel
that's
definitely
fair.
structure their events to be spread thin, so they can have all these tie-ins that don't matter.
Yeah, and when there's 4 of them a year, you really got to pick and choose. Which one am I going to give a shit about? Oh, hey, I like Carnage. I'm going to go ahead and choose that one.
Well, I only bought the 5 issues of the event.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Thor. But I still have War of Kings sitting waiting to be read because I've got an entire 7 years of Jason Aaron Thor to read until I feel like I'm going to be able to understand any of that shit
War
going
on.
on. Yeah. Sorry, War of Realms, not War of Kings. I can't remember any of it anymore.
Yeah, you can't read that until you've read everything else up to that for sure.
Yeah, exactly. But that was a quote unquote event because there were so many books tied into that as it was happening. But yet it's the conclusion of a years long story arc.
And you don't need to read. Having read that, you don't need to read any of the other stuff.
I didn't think so. Although I'll read Gail Simone's tie-in to Iron Man because it's Gail Simone writing Iron Man. So clearly I want to give it a shot. As a podcaster, one thing I learned is I thought I was such a big shit when I wasn't using a mixer. I thought all these years, man, I'm getting away with doing a podcast and I'm not using a mixer, man. And this is going to work out great. Yeah, life is so much better when you use a mixer. I have so much less problems. I can just record on the main computer that I'm doing Skype on. It's great. Life's so much simpler that way. I don't even need an outside recorder when I do that shit. And I wish I'd learned that 10 years earlier than I fucking did. So that is where I am. And of course, the camaraderie of it all, more than anything else. We're getting to know people online and meeting them in person and seeing your mug in person and shit like that is... it's one of the bigger joys. Getting to know people I wouldn't have gotten to know otherwise.
There was my college roommate, my first one, Chris, whom you may have heard in the background of early episodes.
Yep, I definitely remember.
He was friends with some people from StarCraft and Halo 2 back in the day.
Oh wow!
And he became friends with one of them, was like instant messaging, and I thought that was so weird at first. And then I jumped into this thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, now I have a friend for life.
There you go, man.
Through podcasting.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's the way to fucking do it. And I mean, if not for Comic Geek Speak, like
yes,
that's
the forums really what started it.
The forums started it all, and Deemer and Rios and all those and Jamie, when they first started out, like they didn't know what the hell they were doing. They were just go ahead and just bullshitting in front of a mic. And it became something huge, and then the forums happened, and then we all happened after that, 11 O'Clock Comics wouldn't exist right now. Round Comics wouldn't exist. We wouldn't exist.
Well, there
Comic
are so many other
exist.
comics podcasts that have no idea, probably, of the people who were in 2005.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not us, but CGS and Around Comics and Fanboy Radio, for crying out loud.
Fanboy Radio, I haven't thought of them in years.
Comic News Insider and
Word Balloon.
all those
Word
guys.
Balloon,
Word
even.
Balloon.
Yeah, Suntress, yeah.
All these other podcasts, there's trillions of them on there now, and it's like, man, I wonder how many of them listen to any of these at all, if they did at all.
The fact that we existed before iTunes had podcasts, that says something. As a podcaster, I think Comic Timing started shortly after, if I remember correctly. But I started podcasting back in the days where it was just Podcast Alley, and that's it. And then iTunes added it, and then after that, everybody knew what the hell a podcast was. Other than that, it was just like wait, you can listen to radio in MP3 form? What? That's when we were telling people to like us on Podcast Alley because it was the only place we could exist. And then after that, iTunes, Android, everything.
Spotify's got some major push now.
We're on Spotify now. We're on Spotify. Anybody who's listening to us on Spotify right now, sup, dog? It's crazy just how much the medium has expanded, and I'm glad we're still in it. That's all I can really say.
Ad-free and bullshit-free.
Fuck yeah. And we're brought to you by... No, we actually don't have a sponsor right now.
That's one of the main things I notice and appreciate now, is being able to skip ads.
Oh, my God.
I will rue the day when iTunes puts in some software where you cannot skip certain ads in podcasts.
By the way, this episode is brought to you by Stamps.com. That's right, Stamps.com.
Or Audible, or MailChimp.
MailChimp?
Fucking Movement Watches.
Or
Sheets.
the mattress company.
Yeah,
either Purple Mattress or anything like that. Oh my God, yeah. Mark Maron still manages to do a good job with his ads because he's literally he'll be having conversation with everybody, and then you know what this conversation reminds me of? Stamps.com. That's right, Stamps.com. And he'll just go into it. It's like, damn it, I can't skip it. I'm already in it.
Well, that's why I like the plus 30, minus 15. It's smart,
Yep. But anybody who listens to our episodes on two times speed, I hate you. I'm sorry.
I can't do that.
I'm
I can't
sorry.
do that.
Yeah.
I gotta listen to regular speed.
All right, I'm sorry. I actually love you because you're a listener, but at the same time, don't listen to us on 2 times speed because everything sounds like a chipmunk.
Well, because you talk so fast.
I know.
I mean, I talk fast too.
Yes. Thank you, Coffee. That's all I have to say. All right, I think we've basically exhausted ourselves of every topic.
The sun is setting on this episode.
Quite literally.
Timing.
But this will be part 1 of episode 200. As I decided, I want to have a Skype recording for episode 200.
I'm going to add to these Comic Timely facts.
Yeah.
2 trains on episode 200.
Yeah.
So you got to let me know if there's more on part B.
I wanted to scream at the trains. Can you keep the off-fucks down? But that wasn't quite going to happen this time around. But a pleasure seeing you in person, my friend.
Pleasure.
Right on.
If you're in town, you give me a call.
Fuck yeah, we'll do it as always. And yeah, the email address for Comic Timing is comictiming@gmail.com. Facebook.com/Comic Timing for all your Comic Timing conversations. Proud members of the Comics Podcast Network over at comicspodcast.com. It's really weird looking at you as I say this. And the comicbooknoise.com comicbooknoise.com/league as well for all of that. And Brent can be found at Casina B on Twitter. I am I_AM_sci-fi. And you might be able to find an article or two from me at Engadget in the near future. Stay tuned on the Facebook for more information on that.
Thanks, Chris.
Yep, thanks, Chris. And as always, there's always time for trains and comics.